What's up, guys? Welcome to Kinda Funny's The Karate Kid in Review. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by Nick Scarpino.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Mr. Miyagi, I don't know how anything works, Mr. Miyagi.
We have the big dog, Kevin Coelho. We have the Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez.
This is gonna be 5 weeks.
I'm going to torture your ass, Andy. Get strapped in.
It's going to be a lot of weeks, Andy. So many weeks. Too many weeks. And the man that broke a stick in the woods with a karate chop when he was 9. True story. Josh Macuga.
Is that a true story?
What's that?
Is that a true story? Did you break a stick?
Oh, guys, come on. I spent a lot of time in woods trying to chop sticks with my hands, and I was successful one time. I also tried to break like a cinder block, and I broke this knuckle is split in half. You can see it split.
Oh, Christ.
Nick, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it's exactly like my childhood. You guys have no idea. When I was taking karate/kempo at the United Studios of Self-Defense, in order to get like your yellow belt, you had to be able to kick through a small piece of balsa wood that I was super intimidated by. But guys, after the second try, I got my foot through it.
Nick, just so you know, you never retightened your shirt after you showed Macuga the goods.
No, Kevin, what happens is it just wants to do what it wants to do. So this is good. This is going to open up just a little bit.
No, close it. We can't show that. We can't show that.
We're going to stare at my Wrath of Khan chest right now.
Oh, my God.
You got all framing. You got all framing when you did that. It was the perfect timing.
Yeah. Karate Kid in Review, where for the next foreseeable future, we are going to be ranking and reviewing every movie in the canon of the Karate Kid saga. That will include the Karate Kid Part 2, the Karate Kid Part 3, the next Karate Kid, and Cobra Kai Season 1, 2, and 3. I'm very excited about this. You can watch it live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, or you can watch it later on youtube.com/kindafunny or roosterteeth.com. You can also get it as a podcast by searching your favorite podcast service for Kinda Funny Reviews. Real quick, Macuga,
Yes.
I think you might need some headphones.
Okay.
Because is that possible?
He doesn't have a voice for it.
Oh, then you know what? We'll just have to deal
I have a
with
port for headphones. I have a port for headphones.
Oh, yeah. It'd be awesome if you could get one because we're hearing a little bit of ourselves.
That would be fantastic. But we're going to be doing this. It's going to be a really good time. We're also going to review Tenet for Nolan in Review when it comes out to digital services December 15th.
Hey, Mr. Miyagi, you going to tell me that time runs backwards?
This is going to be so much fun. Like, the fact that we have Macuga,
sound like him at all, man.
It sounds like, for whatever reason, every time I try to do it, I think I figured out, Andy, the key to me doing impressions. I have to do a different impression that I think is the right impression, but it's someone else, and then you have to like switch those. So if you want me to do a John Travolta, ask me to do Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Mr. Miyagi, I got to walk down the street.
That is a really good John Travolta. It sounds just like him.
I know.
It's very much a John Travolta kind of mixed with Will Ferrell doing the Cubs announcer of, "Hi, I'm Harry Carey."
Okay.
I'm here. What's your favorite planet? My son.
Mr. Miyagi. Mr. Miyagi.
You can go to patreon.com/kindafunny to get the show ad-free. Our sponsors today are MeUndies, Manscaped, and Blue Chew, but we'll get to that later. Before we get into the whole show and all this stuff, gentlemen, we need to lay some ground rules. And this is more important now than it has been in a very long time. No future spoilers. What that means is we are only talking about the movie we have seen and the movies we have seen prior in this show. Okay? So, Macuga, is that clear to you? So today, no talking about stuff that happens in Karate Kid 2 or 3 or whatever. We're sticking to this movie.
The
Does
good
that make
news
sense?
for you on that one, Timothy, is that I haven't seen 2 or 3 in a very long time. So I'm only going to be talking about 1. Yes. Good.
Andy Cortez from Kinda Funny.
What I do want to point out right here is that when Tim mentions that, Josh does this, and then Nick does that as well. But in my mind, I'm wondering, is Nick even listening, or is he just doing this?
Because really, that message is for Nick Scarpino more than anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things like, will Elizabeth Shue come back in Karate Kid Part 2?
Stop.
We just, yes.
Guys,
no future spoilers.
I don't know that I've ever seen Part 3. Which is that included? I don't know.
Hold on.
I wasn't.
It is.
Yes.
It is. I
Yes.
just said it is. It is included. So now
was
that
gonna
that no future spoiler warning is out of the way,
Quick
I want to
question.
go for it.
Nick, Tim, you went 1, 2, 3, the next Karate Kid, but you didn't mention the Jaden Smith. We're not doing that one.
We are not doing that
not canon.
because
Not
that's
canon.
a separate universe,
Got
right?
it.
And if
There's
I'm being
no-
honest, it's
yeah.
more just that we don't have enough weeks.
It's like the
For-
Sean Connery Avengers is what we're getting at there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's
It's a
definitely
not
one
whole
of those
different
things, Josh.
adventures.
It's one of those things where if we did the Jaden Smith one, it would like lap into 2021. It's like we're done with Karate Kid by then, like who, know, it's in the
Well,
past.
we're doing Cobra Kai in early 2021 because
that's
season
what.
3
Yeah.
comes
Right.
out January 8th. But it's just, we got to do Wonder Woman. There's a whole lot of stuff, guys. A
I'm
whole lot of
excited.
stuff. But I want to start off by going around the table and talking about your guys' history with these movies and the TV show, which ones you've seen, which ones you haven't seen. Nick, I will start with you.
So obviously I grew up in the 80s, and in 1984, The Karate Kid was a huge movie. And it was one of the things, I'm not going to say it was the thing, but it was definitely one of the movies that inspired me to want to take karate. And I believe that was right around the time I was like, Mom, I want to go take karate. And she used to drive me down to where the karate shop next to the karate dojo, rather next
The
to
karate shop?
the karate shop. Because it was next to a Leslie Pool supply shop. And I'll never forget that. Like my dad used to take me there and he'd go muddle about the Leslie Pool supply and just try to figure out stuff to fix the jacuzzi that no one ever wanted to go into. But I remember I took that, and then obviously just very much looked forward to Karate Kid Part 2. And then a couple years back when Cobra Kai was released as a YouTube series, I was like, oh God, they're going to beat this thing into the ground. And well, we'll talk about that when we get to those. But yeah, I love the Karate Kid, and watching it back again, I have some very strong thoughts about it.
What about you, Mr. Makuga?
Okay, I won't make this too long, but you guys should probably buckle up because this is a ride. Okay, so
Does this build up to the stick in the park story?
it does. Yeah.
That's the climax. And
I
then
mean,
snap the
obviously.
stick.
Okay, so real quick, I like that Nick has to explain that he grew up in the 80s. Yeah, we couldn't tell by your grandpa beard there in fucking 5.
Okay. Just because now you shave your head, you're all fucking slick as a seal, and you think you can pull it over on old Scarpino.
Old Scarpino's out there telling jokes on a boat. Meanwhile, he's just training for his life as the Gordon's fisherman. He's just out there with his hat and his
Okay,
beard.
you know what? Okay, get it all out.
You're one of us, man.
Get it
I
all
love it.
out. I try something new. Look at Andy. Andy's just so happy when someone else is making fun of me. He's just like, I'm so happy it's not me.
You know, the guy gets his face on the side of a professional football helmet, and all of a sudden he's just a big effing deal.
It's the
I
ace
mean,
man.
my goodness.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. I mean, look, I inspire people.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Okay, so Karate Kid comes into the Makuga household pretty hot, right? And my parents were they regretted the decision to let my brother and I watch it because I did crane kick my brother in the back,
Of course.
and he fell down the stairs. That was very early on. And then when
Wait, hold on a second.
You gotta learn.
crane kicked someone in the back,
Yeah.
and then he fell downstairs, which means he was standing in front of the stairs, not
Yeah, didn't
facing
see
you.
Yeah.
Not facing you.
Yeah. Kevin's nailing this. You're nailing this, Kevin.
So
Guys.
none of this sounds like an accident, just if I'm doing the math right.
You tried to kill your brother.
correct. Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is at the base of the stairs there were some pillows, and I mean he was fine. It wasn't like a big deal. And then I got in trouble in school for karate chopping too many pencils. Like if somebody had I was
many
chopping
pencils.
that thing real hard.
You've been chopping too many pencils.
Like,
Yeah.
one more question here. Were you asking permission to chop? Were they offering it, or were they putting it in the sharpener, going for it, and you saw the opportunity? Just
Kevin, a huge combination of all three. Like if I saw an open pencil on somebody's desk, it was getting chopped. I mean, I must have broken 30 or 40 Ticonderoga number 2s out there that morning. Okay. Then we had those pedestals in a park by our house, and I was trying to do the crane kick on the thing, and I fell and broke my tailbone, which still hurts to this day. I swear to God,
that bone
every
never
time
heals
I
right. Never heals
Never.
right.
You've
Ever.
given blood, sweat, and tears to this franchise.
Yes, yeah. Then obviously when 3 came out, I was a huge Terry Crews fan,
Obviously.
right?
Obviously.
obviously. I was never really a
Wait.
Miyagi dojo kind of a guy. I was definitely more like strike hard, no mercy, push your brother down the stairs. Clearly,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, you were more of a
That-
Kreese
that was
fan. You
in-
were like Cobra Kai.
Yes.
That was in the slogan.
okay.
Yeah, strike hard, no mercy, kick your brother in the back when he's on top of the
Kick your
stairs.
brother
Yeah.
in the fucking
Exactly.
tailbone.
Andy
Yep.
knows. Andy knows. And so then the love for like karate movies really took off from there. Best of the Best 2, Blood Sport. I mean, it was all laid by the foundation of one Ralph Macchio, who for some reason
Only the strong.
only the strong. Yes,
Only the strong. Yeah, Mark
Great
Dukakis. Well, one of my favorite things that I know I know Makuga will love this story is we were recording a video one time with James and Elise from Funhouse,
So
and we brought up Only the Strong and how it was sort of our introduction to capoeira. And I said, Nick, you familiar with this movie, Only the Strong? And he said, Andy, come on. If there was a new martial art, I knew about it.
because I was the guy, that was my sense of identity. Remember, Andy? I was the guy in my friend group that knew the martial arts stuff. And I felt a tremendous amount of pressure anytime there was a new martial art to like know more about it than everyone else.
real question. Did Nick Scarpino own have a subscription to karate magazines like Karate?
No, my mom
International?
wouldn't let me. I wanted to have a subscription to Black Belt magazine, but my mom was like, that is a waste of money. And because if you remember, guys, you guys probably don't remember this, but Josh, you'll remember this. At the back of every Black Belt magazine or karate magazine or like Kung Fu Weekly, whatever it was like the trades to buy all the illegal shit. So you could buy like throwing stars, butterfly knives, like nunchucks, any sort of like stuff that you were like, oh my God, this is like mystical weaponry of the ninja. And it turns out it was just like you could go to the swap meet and get half that shit, like any swap meet you can go to. But we didn't know when we were kids. I was like, I got to get nunchucks, Mom. And Mom was like, you're a fucking idiot. You're not going to get nunchucks.
Oh no, my
You're gonna
parents
hurt
found
yourself.
all my weaponry that I got at a flea market: ninja stars, a katana blade, a bow staff.
Well, see,
I mean, I
had-
bought it all.
We had the kids next door. We had the kid next door to us were like my age and my brother's age respectively. There were two boys and we were two boys, and their dad like sold jewelry at a swap meet. So that was like just a hobby he did. He was like a parole officer during the day, but then he would like make jewelry and sell it and stuff. He was a cool
That
guy. He
really
was like,
goes together.
it was very weird, but he was like I think he was half Native American, and so he would make like jewelry from his tribe and like sell that, and they would go to swap meets and stuff. So he was like out there, like just it was a hobby that he'd have fun with. But the kids would go to the swap meets too, and every weekend I would look forward to it because they'd come back with like they were the first ones that came back with the ninja shoes. Kevin, do you remember these? They're like the toe like was divided from the other ones.
I don't
for, like,
remember it. Like it's not something that I've ever seen available to buy, but I know of them.
Were
they
Turtles? I think of Ninja Turtles. Like they're
they look like that. They had those. They'd come back with throwing stars, and like when I say throwing stars, guys, I don't mean like decorative throwing star where if you throw it at something it's going to bounce off. I mean a sharp fucking giant piece of metal with 5 sharp sides that if you throw really hard will stick through a tree. You could fucking kill someone with these things. And we are 13-year-old boys running around throwing them at each other and trying to dodge them because we're trying to train how to be ninjas.
I was just thinking of the South Park episode where they accidentally threw one into Butter's eye.
Oh, Butter.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
literally,
it was
like
so good.
If you caught an eye, if that caught your eye, or like it would blind you for
Gone.
Andy,
Yeah,
Andy, and then they try to take him to the vet, but they need to disguise him as a dog.
Good Lord. All right, so Makuga, so you watched the first 3, and then what about Cobra Kai? What about Next Karate Kid and Cobra Kai? Have you seen
Well, so Next Karate Kid comes along, and I had a thing for Hilary Swank for a while until she got
so we're getting into territory here. This is the no future spoiler thing.
okay.
Well, you asked him about it.
It's fine.
Well, just like, has he seen it and all that stuff?
No, I've seen it.
You
And
can't
then-
talk about Next Karate Kid without bringing up the swank, dude. I'm sorry. We got to talk about the swank.
He's specifically saying don't talk about like spoilers. Like
I know. I just wanted to say the word
characters.
swank, guys.
Listen,
know you did.
we're
Let's
going to
move
do
on.
like a full 25-minute tribute video to Hilary Swank when we
The
do
Swank.
the in review for the Next Karate Kid.
It's
Obviously,
called, is the video going to be called Get Swanky?
yeah, get swanky
Wait,
with it.
fuck, is it not Hillary Duff?
No,
Jesus
Hillary
fucking
Duff.
Christ,
Oh
everybody.
shit, I gotta tell
Andy,
Paula some
I'm
shit. Give me a
sorry.
second.
Yes. In fact, it was, I believe, Academy Award nominated Hilary Swank, not
Yes.
Disney Channel's Hilary Duff.
But let's be honest, if they were to tell me that they were going to do a reboot
Totally
with
fine.
Hilary Duff, I would
I'd
still
support it.
watch it. I would
would too.
watch it.
I love
watch
Hillary
it.
Duff.
Wait, I've been saying this wrong for years. It turns out I thought Hillary Duff was it. I legitimately thought like they had redone. Like, it doesn't matter. Let's keep going.
Kevin,
Yeah,
crushing
7. That
it
sounds
per
right.
usual.
Someone, DJ Kenta, who knows way too much about Hillary Duff, says she was 7 at the time. Like, yeah, she was a little kid.
Kento's over there just doing math.
Yeah.
So okay, then Makuga, Cobra Kai.
Well, then Cobra Kai comes out, and I did the free month on YouTube just to watch Cobra Kai, and then Cobra Kai season 2 do another new account for the YouTube for
Naturally,
the free month for Cobra Kai 2. But we had the creators in the Collider Live back in the day. We had Macchio on the show. We had
You had William Zabka too, right? Or no?
No, Billy Zabka wouldn't come in.
That's
He
too
does
bad.
not like the media. He shies away from interviews.
He's
But
exactly
Macchio
like
was
his
like
character.
Macchio was the coolest. We talked to Macchio for like 5 hours. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, big fan.
So for me, I have only seen bits and pieces of the first one, but like I've seen enough of it to like get it. You know, I've never fully watched the beginning to end. And then I have seen the next Karate Kid way too many times because it played on Disney Channel like ad nauseum. So it was just kind of, to me, that was the Karate Kid. And I was like, well, whatever. You know, this isn't something that I didn't grow up in the 80s. I didn't grow up wanting to do karate. Ninja Turtles kind of got me a little bit into that stuff, but that's different. You know, and then all my friends start telling me, including Nick Scarpino, like, dude, Cobra Kai is dope. But when Nick said it, I didn't trust him. You know, it was just more of like, okay, Nick likes this thing. I'm happy he likes it, but there's no way I could ever enjoy it. It's very doubtful. But then it came to Netflix, and my whole friend group on text thread was blowing up, and everyone's like, yo, you got to fucking watch Cobra Kai. So I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. And we're going to watch all the Karate Kid movies leading into it. And that was one of the best decisions I've made in my life. Because, man, there's just some turning. Over the last couple of weeks, we watched all of the movies that we're going through here. And I am just blown away by how similar to Fast and Furious this franchise is, where it just keeps building on itself. And there's a turning point where all of a sudden, everything in the world is about karate in the same way that everything in the world is about driving cars fast. And you just got to appreciate that.
Like, if you don't know karate in Cobra Kai, if you don't know karate in that world, you can't function.
Don't spoil
You
stuff.
can't fucking function, man. It's the entire world, Kev. It's not.
Here's
it's not
the thing: is that you think? I mean, in my high school, or like the hierarchy, you weren't cool if you did karate. I'll be honest. Like, there weren't any like cool kids who did karate in my school, right?
No.
But then like Karate Kid came out, and it was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. So I was like, I'm going to take a karate lesson. I mean, we didn't even like punch or break anything the first class. I was like, this is BS. All I want to do is break people's faces and karate kick people. And all you're just doing is like, hi. And I was like, I don't like this. I don't like that.
Andy Cortez, what about you?
Man, this movie, along with a lot of the other 80s movies we've reviewed on here, my main sort of exposure to them is through Family Guy jokes. You know, like I remember being, I have like these memories of being like a tiny child, and my brother was like 5-6 years old, and he was into Karate Kid. And I remember my dad would do the like thing, you know, like he would do that little joke where he would clap his hands for audio listeners, and you know, so I just have all these tiny references, these small pop culture references to this whole franchise. I've seen the Hilary Swank one. Again, another one of these summer movies, watching it on HBO at 2 p.m. when you're at home because you're not in school anymore. That's definitely one of these movies. And I have not seen any of Cobra Kai. So this is my first time watching it front to back. Any of these movies front to back, where I'm actually like, I understand what's happening. Because I know all the references, but I don't really... There was still some stuff in this movie that I wasn't really sure that was going to happen. That when it happened, I was like, oh, shit, I didn't know that.
Kevin Coelho.
So I've definitely seen a lot of the movies. I'm sure that I've seen all of them once, but it's been many, many years. So like rewatching this, I had forgotten a lot about it. And then the show came out, and I was like, man, that's a really weird like idea for a show. It's a really weird premise. And then Nick was like, I love it. And I was like, I'm gonna stay away from that, you know?
Yeah,
He's just got bad opinions. But like, I'm very excited to talk about this, and I'm very excited to watch these movies, and I'm also very excited to watch the show.
So wait, Kevin, did you like the movie?
Growing up, it was always like it's cool, but what?
Okay, I'm sorry, Tim. I stepped on Tim's toes. Don't say if you liked it or not.
Just real quick, getting through the rigmarole here. We're talking about The Karate Kid, released June 22nd, 1984. Did you guys see it in theaters, Nick and Josh?
I don't remember. Yeah, I probably did, maybe, but I don't remember seeing this one in theaters.
See, The Karate Kid Part 3, I was like, 7, right? So The Karate Kid 3 comes out, and my brother and I are like, well, we got to watch 1 and 2 before we can watch that.
Naturally.
And then when 3 came out, it was like I started punching trees in the woods. Like I was in a scene, man. It was a lot of karate that wasn't really sanctioned by Nick Scarpino's cool karate shop.
The karate shop. Directed by John Avildsen, who was an American film director. He's perhaps best known for directing Rocky in 1976, which earned him the Academy Award for Best Director. Other films he directed include Joe, Save the Tiger, The Formula, Neighbors, Lean on Me, and Rocky V, and the first 3 Karate Kid films. Budget of $8 million, box office of $100 million, making it one of the highest grossing films of 1984, and a runtime of 2 hours and 7 minutes. In terms of awards, this actually was nominated for an Academy Award. Pat Morita nominated for Best Supporting Role.
Did he win, or was he just nominated?
He was just nominated. The studio wanted to drop the drunk Miyagi scene, feeling it slowed the pace down, but the director argued for it and felt that it was the scene that got Pat Morita nominated for an Oscar.
That's 100%. That scene is very beautiful, and he knocks it out of the fucking park in that. And that's also what's up.
Really makes drinking look cool, in my opinion.
I mean, that's what inspired me to quit karate and start drinking. What's amazing to me about this movie is I don't think it's been a while since I've seen the first Karate Kid. It's been on here and there, but you put it on, you don't really pay attention. But watching it back with a more critical eye, I had no idea that was that director, that John Avildsen directed this. It's a much better made movie and better paced movie and a deeper story than I ever remember it being. Like, I remember it being like, okay, this kid's getting picked on. He learns karate, like he learns how to stand up to his bullies. But there's so many little moments in this where like Mr. Miyagi will say something and I'm like, that is an incredibly profound thing to say. Specifically when he's like, do you think I'm going to win? And he goes, it doesn't matter. And he goes, what do you mean it doesn't matter? If I don't win, they'll stop picking on me. He goes, if you put up a good enough fight, they'll stop. Like, I guarantee it. And I was like, I never caught that when I was a kid. I was like, oh my God, that's fucking profound. Like, they'll respect you. And of course, they try to shoehorn it into the air. It was like, hey, good job, LaRusso, you're okay. And he's like, yeah. Fucking thanks.
Well,
they like shot that final scene and then they were like, wait, guys, we forgot like half the dialogue. Just ADR it in there. Just throw it in there later.
What happened at the end? Like, I really feel like it goes from like,
a little bit.
Here it is. They're about to go to like, okay, oh shit. And then just, oh, fuck, he won. All right, bye. Yeah. All right.
It ends literally exactly like Rocky. Where it's like the exact same ending as Rocky, if you remember.
It totally is. Yeah.
But Rocky makes a lot more sense because like all you needed was Rocky to win. There was a little bit more resolution that we wanted.
So what actually happened was it was a budget thing and them trying to like plan out ran out of time to do it, but they were committed to actually having it be a real fight that they did, and they wanted to get it in one shot. So the whole final fight scene, like, it's like they went through the entire thing, and you see the footage from the angles of it all, like are using all the different cameras.
That's cool.
And then, no future spoilers, we'll see some stuff where in the next movie it becomes clear like why the things were cut from this movie and were used later, which is very interesting, and it's why the end is so abrupt and awkward.
That makes sense. sense.
Yeah, we needed like, the sort of suspense that they throw into reality shows, just silence, no sound, like heartbeats.
Yes.
Shows Daniel's on, like we need sort of that sort of suspense, but it was just like,
don't worry,
over,
yeah.
like, oh shit.
And don't worry, when we get to my plot synopsis, I wrote plenty of that into the ending.
Okay.
I rewrote the ending of the scene.
Yeah, honestly, if the crane kick they had like, I'm shocked that they didn't replay it in like that fake slow-mo.
Slow-mo, like five different angles, like Van Damme kick where he
like,
jumps up and
so
hit the guy's
weird.
face 5 times.
It's so weird to like see that happen and then me sit there and be like, I wish they had done that. and I've never wished they had done that before in another movie.
No,
It's interesting because they do a good job with the pacing of like the first couple fights. Like that first fight he goes into, I was like, oh, I'm getting a little anxious. Like this reminds me of like tournaments that I've gone into where he's like near nervous and doesn't know what he's doing. He's rushed onto the mat. And you're like, what's going on? And he like gets hit the first time, gets run off the mat twice. And the guy's like, if you run off the mat again, I'm gonna take a point away from you. And that whole scene is great. And then it just goes into the classic 80s montage. And then we just like, like that, those fights are paced well, but yeah, you want a little bit more out of the Johnny fight at the end, specifically because he's such a good asshole villain.
Well, you know that Best Around was supposed to be in Rocky, and Eye of the Tiger was supposed to be in Karate Kid.
That makes more sense.
Yeah,
it really does.
Here's one of the plot holes that I found the final season. In the final scene is Cobra Kai has its logo on the board like Johnny Lawrence, and Miyagi has a logo already there. They like signed up for the tournament last second. How'd they get his graphic package?
Well, what's amazing to me, if you look at that board though, the production design of first off, the fact that this All Valley tournament is a thing this big is amazing.
It's the best. I'm telling you, it's like Race Wars in Fast and Furious. Like
I guarantee you, Nick, like 13 people showed up to your karate tournament, and 7 of them were in your family. Guaranteed.
Oh my God, yes. Like I've been to multiple jiu-jitsu tournaments that are like they're actually probably this size, but there's not nearly the production. There's no fucking lights. There's no like signs. You're in a stinky high school gym or a stinky college gym, and everyone there is trying to murder each other while their girlfriends or wives or parents are just bored shitless in the stands. It's not like this.
It smells like hot dogs and nacho cheese.
You walk in, it smells like butt.
Yeah.
It smells
it's not.
like
it's 9 a.m. and you're like, all right, if I lose immediately, I'll be out of here by 11:30.
I can still, Andy. It's like if I lose right now, I can still like justify breakfast. You know what I mean? Give me lunch. It'll be some flapjacks.
The thing for me with this movie is it's kind of at odds with itself quality wise to me, where I think it is so good because of the characters and the dialogue and some key scenes. The pacing's all over the place. It is way too long. And like that is just a criticism I have to lob at it. But besides that, there's just something about it that I just like. I'm in the world. They do a good job with characters and world building. And it's weird because what we're talking about earlier with the final scene being rushed, like it's every get hype moment in this kind of is like it's more hype in your heart than it is on the screen.
No, I will say this. I would agree. And up until this point, if you said, Nick, what are the hype moments? And I'm like, oh my God, the crane kick's the most hype moment. Unfortunately, it's the least hype moment. Yeah, but the moment where he's sitting, where he's like, I'm so disappointed with myself. And Pat Morita's like, you did great. You don't have to fight anymore. And he goes, but they're not going to know that. Like they're going to keep going. I have to go out there. And he's like, can you fix me? Can you do the thing? And Mr. Miyagi goes, and the music fucking hits with that. I'm like, oh my God.
That slaps.
It's that total moment. If you guys want to know like another like hype moment, God, I don't think he was the director in this, but in Rocky 2, there's a moment where Adrian goes to the hospital, goes into a coma, and Rocky's like, I don't know if I should fight anymore. And she comes out of the coma. She goes, Rocky, I need you to do something for me. And he goes, anything, Adrian. And she thinks she's going to say, don't fight. And she goes, win. And it is
Stallone directed Rocky too.
Unbelievably hype. And it's the same moment. It's unbelievable.
Andy Cortez, you've never seen this movie in full. What are your thoughts?
Man, I was blown away. Like I think
were you really?
Fucking awesome. Yeah. Like
oh my God, I'm so glad. I thought you were gonna tear it apart.
I was expecting.
Hold on, I need to cut you off, Andy. I need to cut you off, Andy Cortez. I'm gonna give you a little setup here. All right, we are 28 minutes into this show.
You played it close to the
we haven't even started the plot. We've been telling stories. We're just having a good time here. Before the show started, Andy came in and started talking, like setting up as if he was talking some shit. He's like, oh man, I got some shit to say about this movie. And my heart dropped. I'm like, oh man, I don't want Andy to hate his life for the next 5 weeks or whatever. This sucks. And I've been holding off on trying to get to your opinion here.
Subverting expectations.
Are you Ryan fucking Johnson? Andy Cortez, go off.
I am Ryan Johnson. I'm Ryan Johnson, guys. Here's the thing you don't want, and yeah, there it is.
It smells like shit.
Dude, this movie rules, man. Like I was not expecting this. I was expecting terrible 80s movie, and I think so much of it is due to the fact that that Ralph Macchio is, I'll say it right now, the best child actor that we've ever had, like it done in review wise. I think his line delivery is so
It's fucking
natural.
cool.
To be fair,
He's
he
so
was
cool.
22 when he did this
He was
movie.
22.
He was 22?
22 years old.
What the fuck?
He's like,
Here's the crazy
Yeah.
part, Andy, is that Ralph Macchio, to this day in person, still looks 17.
Yeah.
He is 17 years old perpetually.
I am
Yeah,
blown
they
away
did
by
it.
that. I thought he was like 16, 15. Like I
No.
I
He
think
does a
his
great
line
job.
I think his line delivery is phenomenal throughout the whole movie. It's so natural. It feels so real when he's talking to his mom, when he's talking to anybody. It feels like a lot of it is improv. It feels like it's just spur of the moment. You know,
I think
hey,
it
this is
probably
this is
was.
how I'm reacting. And it reminds me a lot of like, and it's probably the New Jersey sort of Italian, accent vibe to it, but it reminds me of Goodfellas and how sort of natural and quick pace the back and forths there. If you close your eyes and watch this movie, you will swear that it is an animated Miyazaki movie. Because the amount of ADR they have in this movie, the amount of
Is
short
insane.
scenes, the amount of short scenes where they have to fill in a bunch of back and forths of dialogue because they decided to add 80 on later on as the characters are walking away like, oh, what are you doing tomorrow? I don't know, not much. Okay, cool. I'll see you then. Like it reminds me of really quick back and forth animated stuff. This movie fucking rules, dude. I couldn't believe how much I love this movie.
Kev?
Yeah, real quick. I was just say after he gets his car and he like picks up the girl and they make up and they're driving off and they're having a full blown conversation and like if you look at them, they're not saying shit. Yeah,
Not
it
saying
is
a word.
a lot of
classic
magic
80s
was
right
done.
there,
Yeah,
Kevin. Classic.
Got to keep that car, Kev.
no.
That was given to Ralph Macchio. Yeah.
What?
The
That's
yellow
a dope car. That's my favorite
Hell
thing
on
about
upkeep,
this
though.
movie. I think that the thing that makes it so special is the relationship that he has with his mom, with Mr. Miyagi. Like it's just such a like like you could tell him and his mom like that's the ideal parent-child relationship. Like they were like having fun, but also he respected her and took her serious. And same with Mr. Miyagi. That it's so heartwarming, and I feel like that energy is so like positive and carries throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, it's really heartfelt and it feels real. It feels like the relationship that's formed, that bond. It feels like it just feels so natural to me. It's so there's no other way to explain it other than him and Mr. Miyagi's relationship feels so real, and by the end of it, like shit, I'm crying in that Mr. Miyagi scene. Like it all feels so genuine, and I thought it was just damn good.
Well, the scene where it's specifically when he gives him the car too, and he's like,
Oh my god, I
It's just
couldn't
good.
even.
It's good.
Hell
It's
yeah,
awesome.
man. Karate's rad.
Okay.
Josh Makuga, what's up?
Let's like all things being equal, okay? If you were a parent in 1984 and you watch this movie with your kid and afterwards the kid was like, "Dad, I want to learn karate." You just got years of chores out of the way. You got your house painted, you got your car waxed like day in and day out. You got your floors sanded. Like, hey, you want to be a karate kid? You got to train like one. And now his house is like the cleanest, best house on the block. The car is perfect. Everything is done, right?
Kid just gets punched. He gets in his first fight and he immediately gets punched in the face. He's like,
This isn't working. This isn't
he's
working.
like trying to hose down the car. He's like, it didn't work.
Hose
I
on,
love it.
hose off.
Before we get to the plot, let me tell you about our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. The holidays can be a stressful time, especially with things looking a little different this year. That's why our friends over at MeUndies curated a list of the stuff your friends really want so you can soften the stress and win the holidays. Of course, right now, I'm still wearing a whole bunch of MeUndies. Got my lounge pants, the undies, the socks, and of course, the shirt. Micromodal fabric. It's the softest thing, and it's the only thing I want on my body. You can go to MeUndies.com/morning to get 15% off your first order and get some free shipping. That's MeUndies.com/morning. Andy, are you wearing MeUndies right now?
Yeah, dog. I'm a pizza.
Getting some pizza slices. That's nice. I like the neon blue. You wouldn't think neon blue and pizza would go well together, but they do.
Oh
Kevin
no,
got some
it's such a great
strawberries.
color contrast because it's the yellow,
Kevin,
the yellow and the red on the blue. Feels great.
MeUndies.com/morning. Next up, I want to give a shout out to Manscaped. Ho, 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 fellas. Naughty or nice, 'tis the season to perform. This is actually what you need to know. Your balls will thank you if you keep them clean. Everyone around you will be very, very happy. They will appreciate you, and you will get so much praise. So many nice things said. Look, guys, 79 of partners polled admitted that long nose hair is a major turnoff. Why not use the best tools for the job here? They got stuff below the belt. They got stuff above the belt. If you have hair in your body that you're trying to get rid of, Manscaped is here for you. It's the season to Manscaped, so get yourself, your dad, your brother, and friends the best gift of all, the Manscaped Performance Package. The Performance Package. What's up, Josh? What's up, Josh McCouga?
As you're reading the ad, you miss Kevin actually checking his nose for nose hair.
Yeah. Well, Kev, if you found any, manscaped.com/morning to get 20%
I've said this
off.
before. I need a better solution than just my Leatherman pliers, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and like
oh
this
my
also
God,
also doesn't work well.
You can't
Fix
pluck.
the ad.
You can't pluck. You'll get ingrown hairs. You got to use the Manscaped. I have it. Telling you, I use it like once, sometimes twice a week because I'm so cognizant of my nasal hair because my whole body is covered in hair. Manscaped literally changed my life. I swear to God.
There you go. 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/morning. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com/morning. And finally, shout out to Blue Chew. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, bluechew.com. That's blue, like the color blue. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach, so you can be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Makes me laugh every time. If you could benefit from more confidence where it counts, Blue Chew is the fast and easy way to enhance your performance. Blue Chew is prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to the doctor's office or wait in line at the pharmacy, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package. You got a special deal going on right now. BlueChew.com. You get your first shipment free when you use the code FUNNY. You just pay $5 shipping. That's BLUECHEW.com. Promo code FUNNY to try it for free. Blue Chew is the better, cheaper choice, and we thank them for sponsoring us to help keep this show going. Use the promo code FUNNY at BlueChew.com. Andy, hit the plot song.
It's time for the plot. Let's talk about Miyagi and Danielson. It's time for the plot. Let's talk about Miyagi and Danielson.
I was great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is a karate dojo,
voice of
not
an
a knitting
angel.
class. You don't come into my dojo and drop a challenge and leave, old man. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 1984, where the shorts are shorts and the karate is hot. It's the Karate Kid. There it is. Daniel and his mother leave the rest of the Italians behind, apparently, never to see another Italian again. And they set off for sunny Reseda, California. And to this day,
Gorgeous.
I still have no idea, Josh, where Reseda is in Southern California. Do you know?
Reseda is like off the 101. It's near a Wet and Wild water park. That's like next to Sam Demas. I think.
Oh, it's next to Raging Waters?
Yes.
Oh,
Is that the
wow, I
park
didn't
they
know
were
that.
at?
Yes,
Did they
in
go
Bill
later?
and Ted's.
Well,
No,
the
they go to
golf
golf and
land.
stuff.
The
Golf and
golf
stuff
land is actually in Sherman Oaks, I think, because now
No,
it's
it's
called
not. It's near Downey. Golf and
Downey.
stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, because my
Okay,
buddy
right.
Pete Marchica, grew up there.
Hey,
He's
Pete
actually-
Marchica.
He was like,
Oh,
well, that's
Pete!
near Downey, the golf and stuff. And he actually he's one of the extras in the All Valley tournament. He's like throwing punches in the background.
No way.
Yeah, it was funny.
That's
Apparently they
sick.
did like an call fed. It doesn't matter. Daniel's not happy about this move because I would soon find out there are not nearly enough Italians in Southern California. This is an
Clearly.
unfortunate statistic that one Josh McCouga is doing his best part to change right now as we speak.
Boom.
They arrive at the South Sea Apartments where Mr. Miyagi works as a handyman / karate instructor. Daniel throws a kick at a door and hits Freddy Fernandez, who I forgot was in this movie because he's only in 2 other scenes and then never shows up again.
Daniel's son gets beaten up by 9 dudes on motorbikes, and Freddy's like, I'm out.
Not only does Freddy go, I'm out, Freddy's like, what a fucking loser.
Yeah.
And his friends are like, where'd you get this guy? And I'd be like, why didn't you help him? Why there's
the
6
hell's
of you
going on?
and 3 of them. I don't care how good they are at karate, like bum rush them.
I got a feeling that Freddie Fernandez, is that his name?
Yeah.
I got a feeling that Freddie filmed a lot of scenes.
It just,
And
Just got cut.
when he watched the final cut, was like, what happened to my, like, I was the second lead in this movie.
It was supposed to be called it.
I was
When I
the
got the script, it was
sidekick.
when I got the script, it was called Freddie and Danielson. Anyway, Freddie invites Daniel to a cool beach party the next day. Daniel's faucet is broken, so he goes down to Mr. Miyagi, his bonsai farm, to ask him for help, but the old man is catching flies
Bonsai
with chopsticks. So he walks in and sees this old man trying to catch fly with chopsticks. So Daniel naturally calls the cops. Because let's be honest, if you saw that, you'd be like, this guy's out of his fucking gourd.
Yeah. Somebody help him.
Daniel goes to the beach party where, of course, he meets Allie, played by the venerable Elizabeth Shue, who we all know for wearing that terrible wig in Back to the Future 2. No future spoilers. He
also
woos
the
her.
boys, right?
And the boys, yeah.
Crazy.
Oh my God, the milk mommy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't call it that.
Oh my
Please don't call it that.
God.
We're
That's crazy.
disassociated with that.
I do want to point out though that Freddie Fernandez, like, shout out to Daniel-san for being so just accepting, because like,
Freddie's a
you
dick
know,
to him.
you know me. I'm the guy that like, if
Well,
you're
not at
too
first.
pushy and like, yeah, come out tomorrow. I'll pick you up tomorrow morning. I'd be like, well, all right, chill the fuck out. Like, I just got here. I gotta like do some stuff, and I would like avoid him for the rest of my life.
Getting to
Of
the
course.
point where it started out you were friends, and then 2 months later you don't even say hi to him in the building.
Yeah, no, it's like,
You're
yeah,
just
I
avoiding.
met him like the first day I moved here. I don't want to talk to him again.
And let's like all things being equal, why isn't Miyagi filling the pool with water? He's the handyman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a very good question.
Like they just glaze over that.
Down at the beach, Daniel woos Allie by showing her his soccer skills and his incredibly short shorts. But she's
He's
rich
such long
and she
legs.
wears one pieces.
Guys, for 30 minutes of this movie at the beginning, I figured it was a soccer movie. Like there's so
He
much
plays a lot
soccer.
of soccer. Josh, this is not the only soccer scene. He goes out for the team and then he continues to play soccer. I don't know how the soccer team works in high school. Andy, you played soccer in high school. Do you just walk on and play whenever you want with the team? Is that how it
No,
works?
first off, I didn't play soccer, but
Did you just assume that because
He's the athletic one in our group, so I assume he
will
plays soccer.
I will say that I think it's a common thing to say Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Karate Kid, soccer movie.
Soccer movie.
soccer movie.
Well,
Someone
I
had
think
to say it.
I think that the first time he's
Soccer kid.
trying to join the soccer team, and then later he's just playing soccer in a PE class.
Yeah, but they look oddly similar.
Very
Yeah.
similar.
But you're spot on, Kev. That's exactly what's happening. We're just goofing. Later
Nick,
that
you
evening,
left out in the plot synopsis that Ralph Macchio, aka Danielson, just stares creepily at Elizabeth Shue for a long
So
time
long.
without saying words.
so long. And,
And-
what I have to imagine is he's wondering is that a wig or no? I don't know.
Is it a wig? I don't know. Wigging out with Scarpino.
I'm happy to report no
Ooh.
wigs in Karate Kid. No wigs in Karate Kid, but there are a lot of bandanas that don't seem to be doing anything. As we'll see when Johnny and all of his guys show up wearing bandanas and they don't do anything. His
They're not
hair is
holding back
still
their
in his
hair.
eyes. It's
Yeah.
not doing a damn thing. And when your hair is getting your eyes when you're riding a motorbike like that, very unsafe.
Nick, it looked cool
unsafe.
though, and like it did its job. You know what I mean, right?
It's true. It's very
Really
true.
quick, I do want to go back to, again, the thing that Makuga pointed out, the fact that Daniel-san is looking so much at her in this beach. They're both locking eyes. It's going
It's
both
poor
ways.
Yeah.
But it's funny because we start to see that connection being made at what? I don't know, 11:30 a.m. And the second time we see it, it's about 8:40 p.m. And you got to wonder how many times in between the same thing happened. Like, there's, like
I
the
know
9 hours
it's a
of
soccer game.
Andy, not only that, there's no one else on the beach.
There's
It's
nobody.
Two parties of people 15 feet apart, and they haven't talked at all
Yeah.
in 10
Nothing.
hours, and they changed. Someone went home and got them more clothes, and they brought the clothes back because they're all in different outfits. But I digress. Let's see. Daniel starts putting the moves on Allie, and it's a cute scene where his buddy's like, "I dare you to put the moves on her," and he's like, "I got move. Hey, Mr. Miyagi, I got moves." And he's like, "Yeah, show me, Danielson." And he kicks the soccer ball into the group, and he has to go over and get it.
Dude,
yeah.
no joke. When the Miyagi stuff happens. Oh, we're not there yet. You're just making a joke,
No,
right?
we're not there yet. I'm just making a joke.
Okay. Keep
Daniel
going.
puts the
Nick,
moves
I
on
think-
Allie, and of course, then this is when Johnny and his boys show up. And Johnny, guys, Tim, if you've never had sympathy for Johnny, this is the one scene where you should, because
Yes.
all Johnny wants to do, Tim, is just make it work. Guys, I'm a senior. I just got to make it work this year. And you're like, what was in his past that he couldn't make work?
Yeah, what was happening?
never
And
know.
Why
We
did
will
they
never
break
know.
up in the first place? We never even
Okay.
got to that. Was it
We
just
can-
he was too aggressive with Cobra Kai? Why did he and Allie break up? He's a handsome kid with a great toss mop.
Yeah,
I
but
mean-
we see him immediately be a horrible dick to her, and like then
yeah.
be
He's a prick.
very
Yeah.
aggressive and a little bit abusive, where he's just like, "No, stop playing the music. I want to talk to you." And it's like, "All right,
Well,
this is
we
why
also
it
get
didn't
that-
work."
We also get the line, Kevin, where a homeboy, sidekick, douchebag on Cobra Kai is like, didn't they break up? And the other guy's like, well, she did, he didn't. Or so there's that like kind of funny little back and forth to indicate that, what's his name?
Johnny Lawrence.
Johnny Lawrence obviously not over this relationship and he needs help.
Well, Johnny, I think just has a big
though,
ego also that just will not allow him to be over this relationship.
Shout out to all of them showing up on these motorbikes wearing matching different colored jackets.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, these guys are fucking cool. Karate is the most important thing in the world.
All I want you to know is I hope someday we get to the point where we have matching jackets. They're all their own different colors. I would love motorbikes. I'm not allowed to go in them. My wife says I can't. And that's fine.
When have you
I'm fine
ever
with
listened
that.
to what Paula says?
I made an agreement. I'm not like, I don't jump off cliffs. She doesn't let me. You know what I mean?
Okay,
there's certain rules.
Smart.
Yeah,
I get that.
No, that's it.
Right
I
along.
just want that.
Nick, you glazed over the scene where Freddie Fernandez prepped Daniel's son to bring backup clothes because it gets cold at night in California.
But maybe that made it onto the
another one of the deleted scenes
from Freddie and Daniel's son.
Yeah, Freddie's in the theaters like, where's the scene where I told him about the clothes?
Freddie's like, guys, that was a critical scene. Now it's not going to make sense.
Nobody's going to know where he got the right hoodie from.
That started building a relationship. That's so many callbacks are made to this scene.
Oh god. Johnny is a complete and total dick to Allie, even going as far as breaking her boombox. And then of course Daniel
radio.
He does not hate that. I mean, he does not like it at all. You're absolutely right. Of course, Daniel tries to stick up for her and then just gets his ass beat. He gets beat so hard that when Allie tries to console him, he's like, "No, just leave me alone. It's fine. I'm gonna be okay."
He does that just lying on the ground, like not just changing positions or just lying where he fell, and he's just like, "Don't worry, I'll get up when I can."
I can relate to that shit, dude. I felt for Daniel there. That'd be me.
I'm fine. The next day, what's up, Josh?
Josh McCouga, he may have thought he was the Karate Kid, but he wasn't punching any people. Well, he did kick his brother down the stairs, but there was no actual fight. I've never been hit in the face in my life. One time I got punched in the ear by accident. But other than that, Josh McCouga has never actually been in a fight. So I feel like if I was going to this beach party and a bunch of street youths showed up on their cool motorbikes with their insanely expensive karate merch jackets, that I would get my ass kicked too and just face in the sand. I'm out.
Well, it's worth noting that Daniel has made reference to the fact that he knows karate or has had some level of like either reading karate in a book or taken at the Y or whatever it is, but that does not stop Johnny from fucking roundhouse kicking him into the future. He beats his ass in this scene, and you do feel for him. And of course, the next day, all is looking kind of dark for Danielson as he shows up with a giant black eye, but that doesn't matter, Tim, because what really matters is the song that's playing as he rolls into school for the first time.
Oh my god, Cruel Fucking Summer. Are you kidding me?
Bananarama's best.
When it plays, it sets the tone, and you're just like, oh, this is the world we're in, and I just want to be in it.
Yeah.
Freddie and the guys make fun of Daniel calling him the Karate Kid, which is a line I never picked up on before. I don't know if you guys heard that, but he's like, "Oh, look at that! It's the Karate Kid."
Title of the movie. All right,
guys. I sang "Cruel, Cruel Summer" at karaoke, and now my wife is pregnant. I don't know if that's like.
Dude,
I think it is.
That's amazing. And then, of course, this is the last time we see Freddie and the guys. They never show up again in the movie. This is it. So say bye to them. But Allie comes over to thank Daniel for standing up for him, which Johnny and the rest of the Cobra Kais do not like. Unfortunately, everyone's shorts are just too damn short to do anything about it. Daniel gets baited into another fight where he, to his credit, executes a very sloppy but effective double leg takedown, exposing a glaring hole in karate from the 80s, which is the ground game. It gets broken up by one of the teachers, and they get it's fine now. That afternoon, of course, Mr. Miyagi comes over to fix Daniel's mom's faucet. And if you're asking why I typed it that way, it's because I'm disgusting and I watched way too much pornography in the 80s. He tells Mr. Miyagi at this point, I will pronounce his name correctly when Daniel learns how to pronounce it, that he fell, but Mr. Miyagi is like, yeah, I don't buy that shit at all, man. I've been in a lot of fights.
Real quick though. Again, this is the Miyagi scene. I think this is maybe the second time that he says Miyagi, and I'm sitting in my bed right the fuck there and going like, "Oh my god, have I been saying it wrong my whole life?" Like, I swear that happened to me. I couldn't believe it. And then eventually Miyagi spoke, and then his subtitle said Miyagi, and I was like, oh, there's probably gonna be a correction coming soon. But I was like,
Wait,
oh
how
my
often
god,
are you saying
did I just
Miyagi?
huh?
How often are you saying Miyagi? Like,
all the time. Me and
No,
Danny.
I mean,
me and
no,
Danny
but
talk
like,
about that
I've-
word all the
You
time.
reference
No, I
it.
just mean like I've known it as Miyagi my whole life. I've known like that guy's name. So when he says Miyagi, I'm like, oh my god, did I hear it wrong the first time?
Kevin, when I go over to Andy's house and I secretly want to like slip in,
No,
that's
I
the
don't
secret
like
word.
this.
I knock on the door and I
I
go,
don't-
and Andy goes, "What's the password?" And I go, Miyagi.
okay, but that's you saying it. That's you saying it, right? That's not
Yeah.
him saying it.
Can we-
Miyagi-to.
Again, can we also point out why is he used such a like? I don't really use soft G's that often, right? Like the G is usually a hard G. It's a Miyagi, right? But also, it doesn't. Does it say Mr. Miyagi on his office? Like, how does he see it?
How does he know his name?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a great.
I
that's a
assumed
great
that was something
question.
I missed, honestly, Josh. I thought that was just like a quick line. Like maybe he walked in, he saw on the door Miyagi. I don't know.
Right? Like there is no prior notice to that he says his name anywhere.
That got deleted when Freddie Fernandez like, hey, this is Mr. Miyagi.
Exactly. Another deleted Freddie Fernandez
Yeah.
scene. Son
Damn
of a
it.
bitch.
Freddie would have made this movie. If Freddie had been and made all the cuts, everyone would have gotten an Academy Award in this movie.
Freddie and Daniel saw the movie.
The movie.
Here's the crazy part is that every audition from 1985 to 1986 that actor went in, he's like, I was Freddie Fernandez in The Karate Kid. Quick story, the original title was Freddie and the Boys, but they changed it.
They didn't like it. It just didn't
Karate
work.
Fred. Yeah.
The next
Karate
day,
Fred.
the Karate Kid and friends. The next day at school, Daniel buys Allie lunch, which I thought was a really cute scene. Like it's a little tiny moment, but he goes, I'll get both of these." And then she tells him that she's been over Johnny for weeks. And Andy, this is another one of those moments that I was going to point out earlier when you talked about how he seemed a little bit of his style was improvisational. He has a great moment here where he's like, "Weeks? How many weeks? Like 2 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks? Like
Yeah.
how many weeks?" Like that's a question you would ask yourself. Like, how long is this guy going to kick my ass? To like because I like his ex-girlfriend.
I love it. He's so good, man. He's fucking great in this movie. It blew my mind. But again, now that I found out he's 22, this guy's been acting for about 10 years or something like that.
Guys,
He had a
if you
solid
walked
guess,
into an audition room in Los Angeles and they said like, hey, coming in right now, Ralph Macchio, he booked everything. You have to. His name's Ralph Macchio, for Christ's sake. It's like it's one of the greatest names in the history of entertainment.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's every man's name, Ralph, followed by the most Italian last name ever, which is Macchio.
Yes.
That afternoon, he goes to a karate dojo that on the outside of it has images of one person straight up murdering other people with axe kicks. And if I were in like the local association of businesses, I'd be like, could you maybe make the imagery on the side of the Cobra Kai dojo a little less ultra violent, please? But he goes in anyway, and we see our first glimpse of Kreese. John Kreese, who has a standee of himself at the front door. And Tim, I refuse to do any further plot synopsis until you get one of me doing this in my gi and put it at the front of our new studio.
I love
Nick,
it.
you
I'm
take
so
the photo.
down.
I'll have it made for sure.
Beautiful. Of course, we hear the mantra of Cobra Kai here: strike third. Strike first.
Strike third.
Strike third. Hey, welcome to the karate shop, Mr. Miyagi. What are we teaching you today? Strike first, strike hard, no mercy is what we hear, and we see that, of course, play out as Daniel watches two kids. He pits two of his students against each other, and they just Dutch just beats the shit out of the other kid here. Maybe it was
And
Bobby.
then he's
Bobby
like,
fucks up
finish
this
him.
kid.
And he pulls
And
out
he's
a
like-
fucking knife, just stabs him.
It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be finished. No, I have midterms tomorrow.
Kevin, Kevin, the kid is just killed and they like throw the body into another pile of bunch of bodies. And it's just like, this place is ruthless. And you paid $38.99 a month for it.
How's
Pretty
karate
brutal.
class going? I don't have a kidney.
They've killed
the other
my
thing, too,
friend
is-
Bobby. Maybe that's where Freddie went. He just killed him.
You see that picture of John Kreese like in the military. I'm surprised they didn't have him holding like some Vietnam soldier's head in the like, I was in Nam.
I can't, like, immediately, this is where the movie loses all realism, is with, Mr. Teacher. Because he, like, this is immediately where the movie, where I go to myself, man, none of this is realistic. Like, no adult would act this way.
Wait, Andy,
at
have you
all.
ever gone to like a karate school? Like, have you ever actually attended one of these things?
Like, I've attended like summer camp shit. I haven't gone to a real,
But like, we're
karate
like the
karate shop.
because like, I mean, my karate teacher, great guy, but closer to him than to Miyagi. You know what I mean? Growing up.
My
Interesting.
my
Where it was
Kempo
like he was
instructor
a-
was a little.
Yeah, my
Kim,
Kempo
sorry, go.
instructor was a bouncer on his off time when he
Yeah.
wasn't teaching.
I,
And,
I
like-
guess maybe not necessarily this scene, but when Miyagi and Daniel-san first enter, or is this the scene where they walk?
No,
in?
That's way later.
Yeah. Anyway, when he's like threatening
straight up
Miyagi and the
threatens
kid, it's your
Miyagi,
head
yeah.
and then you're next. Like,
But
that's
Andy,
like, okay,
Andy,
man,
he's
this is
not
wild.
have you ever had your instructor go up to another instructor? I mean, it's every time. You know what I mean? Because they gotta seem tough in front of their class. You know?
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not
I
sure.
figured it'd be a parent being like, "Yeah, I'd like to talk to you about this." Like, this is kind of crazy. Yeah.
no parents allowed in
There's a
Cobra Kai.
reason why there's no
In fact, they've
parents
all
Sure,
or
if
been
you
anything,
guys
yeah.
picked up on the
eliminated.
all Asian theme of this neighborhood, apparently there's only a Chinese restaurant next to a karate shop. So
That's true. Yeah.
yeah,
That's true.
very-
Karate
of
shop.
course,
That's one of my favorite things that's coming
Karate
out
shop.
of this.
I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
No,
Of
no,
course,
I
when
like it.
Daniel-son's taking this whole thing in, and then of course he spots, and I love how this is shot, by the way. Like, of course, because you can like see him, but Daniel hasn't seen him yet. There's a moment where they all bow, and as they bow, the first head to come up who's teaching the class is none other than Johnny. And Johnny sees him for a second and just has that fucking look where he's like,
that
"You
smile.
fucking dumbass.
He's
You
such a good
dumbass."
evil guy.
Yeah.
great.
I bet he's really nice in person, but man,
he
the
is
whole
a
80s,
sweetheart.
throughout the whole 80s, he
That's what
just
makes
played
him a
that
good
same
actor,
character,
you know?
unfortunately, and we all
Yeah.
fucking hated him.
Every time, poor Billy Zabka, every time they threw in a movie, they're like, all right, so here's the plot. The girl goes for a totally dorkier looking version of like a guy, I guess. And you are like the frat guy / bully / hot dude that really like should get the girl, but you're not going to get it. That's the movie. And he's like, all right, I guess I'll do it again.
If you read trivia about and I feel for him, because if you read trivia about Back to School, he plays a very similar character to this. So he played the same character essentially in Better Off Dead, right? Where he played it was like the downhill skiing one with John Cusack, literally the same character. They're like, we just want you to be Johnny from the Karate Kid, and he was like, fine. But by the time he got to the third iteration of that, apparently he was like, I'm not playing a bully in this. I want to play the character who was like sort of like the asshole antagonist to the main character in Back to School. They're like divers. And he's like, I'm a fucking diver. I'm not gonna be a bully. We're high divers. We're not guys that are gonna like go beat the shit out of each other. And so he's like, I'm gonna play this as a really insincere insecure prick instead. And I actually think it's a lot better in that movie because he comes off hateable for a whole different reason, much more dimension. Anyway, back to this, back to the plot. Daniel, of course, is like, oh, I can't train here. So he goes just directly across the street to where his mother works in a restaurant, which is just perfect blocking. But of course, he's having
was that the mom's job? I thought that she was just getting dinner there or lunch.
Yeah, they were just having dinner.
Oh, okay. I apologize. I thought she worked there. I thought I caught her like busting a dish.
No, come on, dude. She was getting a manager position, and
Yeah.
he was supposed to be really
It's a
excited.
big deal. It's a big deal. I was
Here's
excited
their
for her.
point.
You know what I mean?
I
It's a good
apologize.
mom.
But as they're having dinner or having lunch, rather, right across the way, we see the entire Cobra Kai gang just leave practice, see Daniel, and be like, we're going to plot the most elaborate revenge scheme against this poor kid who has gotten his ass beat just straight up yesterday at the beach. We're going to wait until midnight when he decides to ride home on his bike, Tim, and then we're going to track him down with our dirt bikes and throw his ass off a grassy knoll. And they do it.
And they do it.
And they do it.
And if he dies, he dies. You
He
know?
dies, he dies.
There's apparently a ton of just like open construction no man's land in Reseda that they just keep getting to somehow.
It was the 80s.
Yeah.
It was the
Yeah.
80s, Josh. Everything in LA was underdeveloped. It was just orange groves as far as the eyes could see.
Yeah, it's the same. It's actually the same development that they jump the bikes in ET. Not sure if you know about
Exactly.
that.
Wow.
It's just the same way every time they have to go through a tunnel, it's the damn Back to the Future tunnel.
Yeah.
It's in every movie. Of course, when he comes home, he's beaten up and he's just had enough. He throws a temper tantrum and throws his bike into the dumpster. And his mom is another good scene where she's like, if you don't talk to me, I don't know how to help you. And he goes, you can't help me. The only thing that can help me is basically I need to learn how to fight because these guys.
The only thing that can help me is karate.
Karate! He says karate. He's like, I gotta take karate, Mom. I gotta take karate. And she's like, what about that dojo? He goes, no. Those are the guys that are learning to kill me. I can't go into that dojo.
What's great is she also is like, no, dude, violence is not the answer. And he's just like,
Yeah,
well,
she's
with
like-
these kids, it's gonna have to be.
He's like,
I love this
your
moment.
parents
I love his visible frustration from Ralph Macchio of just like I fucking hate living here, Mom. Things are great for you. I'm getting my ass beat every fucking hour of my life since we moved here. Like I hate this, and I thought he just did such a great job of sort of emoting that.
I mean, I'm here. This sweet Asian man isn't filling the pool. I got kids on motorbikes. I'm riding a Schwinn. What the fuck?
Freddie Fernandez won't stop calling me. Like
Freddie Fernandez always over.
He keeps eating all the food in the kitchen. The next day, of course, Allie invites him to the arcade, but he spots Johnny and runs for the hills. When he gets home, he finds his bike all fixed up, and he, of course, assumes Mr. Miyagi did that. How he knows Mr. Miyagi did that, I have no idea.
You already broke your rule. You're already calling him Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi. He goes down to thank Mr. Miyagi for helping him. And learns a bunch of stuff about Mr. Miyagi's like upbringing in Okinawa, Japan, and then he starts teaching him how to trim this bonsai tree. And it's just like a simple scene, but it's so good. And then of course, this is the one person who's shown Daniel any sort of like, outside of his mother, any sort of like respect and like a little compassion. And then he gets kind of caught up in it, and his mom's like, "Where you been?" And he's like, "I'm trimming this tree." And all this stuff. And then he starts to literally he starts teaching him like lessons about like, he was like, if you focus on just the task at hand, like everything else will go away. And I'm like, did we just start learning karate like just right now? We didn't even know. He's inceptioning it, Kevin, into our brains. Of course, Daniel, his mom comes and he says, "You got to come home." He gives him the trees and stuff. Very endearing. And then Daniel, we get montage of Daniel like avoiding Allie all the way up until Halloween, where there's a dance that night. And Mr. Miyagi asks him, he's like, "Are you going to go?" And he goes, "Well, I would go, but I have to be invisible." And Mr. Miyagi, being the fucking genius that he is like, I got a good outfit for you. And man, if you ever want to be invisible at a party, Tim, why not dress like a shower where you stick out like a sore thumb?
What the actual
how
fuck
cool
was this
was
decision?
How cool was it that he was in the background while they were talking the entire time? The shower curtain?
I didn't catch that. I never caught
so
that.
he's talking. He's like, "Well, I need a costume." It's right behind him, hanging on the wall. The shower like ring and the curtain.
Yeah, that's cool. That's funny. And of course, when he gets to the dance, and this is another endearing scene, and shout out to Elizabeth Shue for playing this, right? Because her friends are just like stereotypical asshole friends.
What do you
She looks over and sees the shower, and she goes, "There's Daniel." And her friend goes, "Where?" And she goes, "Right there." And she goes, "How do you know?" He goes, I just know. Like, if there's that moment where she just realizes that only this guy that I have a crush on would dress as a fucking shower at a high school Halloween dance. A guy that's getting his ass beat by bullies every day shows up as a shower. Why not?
But also, like, they've known each other for a week or something like that.
But Andy, remember in high school where like you'd know someone like someone would go from being a complete stranger to the love of your life in like 15 hours. Like, I can't even imagine my life without you, and then you break up the next week. That's how I
feel that. I feel that.
Fisher.
But Nick, I love where this is about to get, where she goes and she gets in the shower.
Yeah,
she gets like, in
the shower.
Can you imagine? Like, I don't think I've ever actually seen a chaperone at a high school dance or whatever. I was lucky enough to not have to experience that. But I imagine chaperones would be on this shower kid ASAP. Like, he's hiding something. And what's he hiding? He's
because
making out.
Let's be perfectly honest, Tim. If it was you, you'd pull some stupid shenanigans with this shower thing. Where like, I don't even want to know what young Tim Gettys would do with this, but it would probably result in a Mario Kart video. They of course make up, and Daniel has another good scene that's very endearing where he says, "Hey, you know what? You were right. Like, I should face things head on," because she told him that earlier. She's like, you can't keep running away from Johnny. You got to face this. And he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm okay. I got a thing. I got to watch or whatever."
Yeah, and this is another situation where it seems like they've been dating for fucking years, when she's like, "Why don't you just come face this guy?" Like, "Hey, lay off me," you know?
Yeah,
like come on.
I don't understand. Like, I want to point out just like real quick. Okay, yes, Nick, I get your point. Like, we all fell in love with a girl right away in high school. I probably did like every 2 weeks, right? But she doesn't know him when we don't, as the audience, know him well enough to be like Mr. Funny in a shower. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, he showed zero comedy skill at all.
Yeah, that's so true.
But I think he was charming and different. And I think that's when she sees that shower, she goes, "I'm okay. That's got to be him, right?" Because he's silly and charming and different. Like, that's what I got from that. But I get you. Like, how would she know automatically? I thought it was a good piece of writing.
It'd be like
he loves showers. That's what it is.
I mean, I think they spent hours together hanging out at the beach. We just didn't see it.
Probably.
They cut that. And Freddie Fernandez.
It was all Freddie. It was all Freddie. Yeah.
It was all Freddie.
They had a great scene where he was like, "Freddie, you're my only friend. You're going to be the godfather of my child." Freddie's like, "Great, it's going to be awesome."
Yeah, all those scenes where Freddy's like, Danny, you're the funniest guy I know, man. And then like that's what we find out. He's funny, man.
Yeah. The
of course,
crazy part was
Daniel's-
Freddie Fernandez shows up to the school dance as a hot tub, totally, and Josh,
But he showed up. But he showed up 5 minutes late, and everyone's like,
5 minutes
"It's
later,
been
already
It's been
taken.
done."
He's a sink.
Oh man. Of course, Allie wishes, she's like, man, I wish Johnny would get a taste of his own medicine. So Daniel decides to ruin, well, I would say, what, Kevin, $5 to $10 of perfectly good pot by just
I've never
spraying
bought
Johnny
drugs.
down with a water hose. And I'm just gonna say it right now.
Can you not
I think
dry it
if he
out again?
hadn't- What's that?
Can you not dry the
Pot?
weed out?
You might be able to. I
afterwards?
don't know. It's probably not as good
But
though.
there's like a rage that
Some of the
you know,
chemicals and
No,
stuff.
Sorry,
I
I'll
get
get
it though.
over.
Like nobody likes being showered. Like
I kind of wanted his makeup
know?
to run a bit.
no,
Well, by
that's
the
grease
way,
makeup. That won't
I
run.
want to give a shout out here, of course, to the other iconic
Science.
costumes in this. Of course, so many different looks. The headband, of course, is iconic. The crane kick, of course, is iconic. And then to me, the skeleton costumes of the Cobra Kai was the coolest thing ever.
Oh yeah.
First off, Tim, the fact that they coordinated this.
I was just gonna say, did
I
Chris
have
come in and be
tried-
like, you guys have to dress the same for Halloween?
You guys, I have tried to coordinate Kind of Funny's Halloween costume.
I know, Kevin. It's
many a time.
It's hard.
And
It's
to
so
Nick's credit, he is the only one that has actually done it.
You wanted to do a sexy cat. So I showed up as a sexy cat. Y'all
Yeah, you're
fucked
right.
me.
And
Y'all
like, I'm
fucked me,
sorry.
metaphorically.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Jesus
but I mean,
Christ.
metaphorically, you did. You screwed me over on that one. But no, I'll give a shout out to that because if you're new to the series, those costumes were the coolest, and people have been emulating those throughout the years as homages. But anyway, and they looked awesome. Like the fact that the thing pulled over and they painted the skulls, dope. Anyway,
Yeah.
do also want to point out here that it's very possible that after the week of Halloween, Johnny and the Cobra Kais may have let it go. Like they may have bullied him for maybe one more week and then fizzled out and gone on to something else as Johnny inevitably.
Oh,
But it's the
that's
fact
why
that
Gio was a fucking skeleton.
There's the reveal, Andy. I knew it was gonna happen with you when you didn't get it.
Wow.
Do you see those wheels turning, Tim? Do you see those wheels
I
turning?
did.
Wild.
There you go.
Yeah.
Of course, the Cobra Kais chase Daniel down, and he almost, I don't know what his plan was here. I think he was going to run indoors and lock his door, and they were going to kick his door down. But man, they catch him right before he gets to his condo complex or apartment
Dude,
complex.
when they
and
pull him
just
off the damn gate, like,
beat
man,
his
I don't know if you've ever
ass.
been pulled off a gate like that. That's a
It's
scary
scary.
situation to be in.
Yeah.
Fuck
you don't know where
yeah.
you're going with. And he gets his ass beat until Mr. Miyagi flies in from the fucking sky and decimates the entire crew of Cobra Kais. It's not even.
So
It's
rad.
they don't even. It's not even a fair
It's
fight.
not
He
close.
just
No,
blows
no.
them all away. And at one point you start thinking to yourself, is this a 45-year-old man beating the shit out of teenagers?
45. He's like
45. You're
82.
being very generous. He's like at least 60, right?
Is this
Got
okay? Is this a 60-year-old man beating a 17-year-old kid's ass?
Yo, it's pretty ridiculous, and I love it. I love
But
it so
doesn't
much.
matter. And then, of course, Daniel, gets. This is, of course, where they introduce the headband, where he's like
He look-
using it
yeah.
to wipe off his wounds. And he's like, I didn't know you knew karate, Mr. Miyagi. You got to teach me karate so I can get revenge. But Miyagi tells him that karate is for defense only. He's like, it's not for defense. And he's like, well, I got to go this, but I wanted to take over this place, but they got a bad. These kids are all bad students. And then Miyagi again dropping that knowledge goes, there's no such thing as a bad student, only bad teachers. And then Daniel finally stops saying his name like he was fucking born in Sicily. They decide this is where he goes. It's Miyagi, and he's like, I'm sorry. Apologize about that. You gave me a plan. I fucked you.
Parmigiano Miyagi.
Hey, it's funny that he didn't say. Oh,
And then the next day, again, this is a lot of.
sorry. There was just
Okay.
suddenly there's a crazy echo on my headphones.
Oh,
I was
okay.
gonna say it's funny that like, after like 3 months of knowing him, he's not like, why wouldn't you have told me earlier? Like, I've been
It
saying
is
this wrong for
embarrassing.
3 months.
It
Yeah.
is embarrassing.
You know, I feel like now is as good a time as ever to bring up a conversation that I screenshotted because I want to bring this up.
Oh, God.
Makuga knew that he was going to do this show for the last month or so, right? And he has texted us his hype levels countless times. Like he's just been roaring and ready to go. But my favorite back and forth I've had is him just randomly sending me a text. Hey, just a quick question. For Thursday, do you want me to do any karate demonstrations?
Yeah.
And I said, yes, please. And he goes, okay, cool. I don't want Nick thinking he's the only guy who knows karate just because he goes to a jujitsu class once a week to wash the clothes for the sensei.
Okay.
And I go, fuck
There's
yes.
a lot wrong in
And,
that. And go ahead, sorry.
Yeah,
We'll
Nick
make a
goes
segment
twice
out
a
of
week
it.
to wash the clothes.
We'll make a segment out of it.
Can I point something out real quick
Mhm.
before we go into this? What I'm assuming is going to be a genius segment by one Josh Maguga. All three of us have been on a hype level text thread for 4 weeks now since Josh agreed to do this, and you left me off this one, didn't you, Josh? You just texted him directly.
Well, you know,
Fucker.
Nick, I may have. That's on me mostly because I figured, you know, I didn't want. I know you're sensitive right now. You got your little blue belt on. It's like a whole thing. You don't. You
Big
want to
blue
be
belt.
the
Which Nick, we're
karate
proud
guy,
of you.
but
We're proud of you for the blue belt, by the way.
yeah, very
A lot of
proud,
fun.
very proud.
Thank you.
And you know, I didn't want to be because listen, if you went to, it's not about teacher, right? It's not about student. It's about Makuga's level of karate knowledge, and mostly it's just punching and kicking as hard as you can all of the time,
Okay.
right?
All right.
So it's not about defense, it's about offense, right? It's about coming in hard with fists of fury and legs of thunder, okay?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And really
Legs of
just
thunder.
kicking ass. Thank you,
Fair.
Andy. You get
Fair.
it.
So I said, we'll make a segment out of it. And he responds, Josh on, Josh off. Maku crane kick.
Yeah.
Mr. Makiyagi.
That's
Okay,
not-
that was a stretch.
that was bad. That was just bad.
Cobra Kai.
That's
Cobra
that's
Kai.
good.
Now we're talking. So this has been Cobra Kai.
Mhm.
Yes, I love it.
Yep.
So what they decide to do here, which I think is an unbelievably like mature thing, specifically for an 80s movie about karate, is he goes, I'm not going to teach you karate. We're going to just go to the school tomorrow and talk to the head instructor and ask him to tell the students to like stop bullying you.
Bold move.
And
As soon as he just
well,
kicked
first
the
off-
shit out of.
yeah, he tells Daniel to go do it himself. And Daniel's like, if I walk in there, they'll beat my ass. You have to go with me. And then Miyagi's like, I don't want it. Then this is the one moment where Miyagi kind of fails him. He's like, I don't want any part of this. And then he's like, well, you're expecting me to do this and you don't have my back. Like you're full of shit. And he goes, you know what? You're right. I gotta do the right thing here too. Even if it's hard, I will stand by you. We're gonna go to this school tomorrow and we're gonna sort this out. And when I was a kid, I was like, this is way too adult, way too much confrontation. I'd rather these guys duke it out. Like this is more anxiety producing than any of the actual physicality of these situations. They walk into the school, and of course, we see Kreese. This is where I think they have the little bit of a fight where he shows the two students beating the shit out of each other. And we, of course, see the poster, Andy, for the who knows how many this has been in a row, All Valley Karate Championship. I like to think, it's Kevin, that it's the 18th. I like to think they've got a long lineage of this. This is a
I
huge
think you're right.
tradition
I
in
think you're
Reseda.
right.
But there's no dates or times on this at all. It's just a poster that says the All Valley Karate Championship.
No, I
And
thought
think
that,
it says
no,
like
it,
December
it, there is.
13th.
Yeah, it has a date, December 18th.
Maybe it does. Maybe it
Something
does.
like that.
When you know,
Yeah,
you
something like
know.
that.
Yeah, when you know, you
It's-
know.
You got
Guys, it's the All Valley. Everybody's calendar it's pegged
Mhm.
as the whole year is leading up to it. Starting January 1, everybody circles the All Valley on their calendar. It is the biggest thing in Reseda. It's
It's so
clearly the
true.
biggest thing in the valley.
Nick,
And
yeah.
How much? We're jumping forward a little bit with my question here, but like, how much do you think that set for the tournament like would cost to make and have? Like, if
Right
we
now?
wanted it, yeah. If
Well,
we
so here's
wanted
the thing.
to have
The
someone
set
you
say
itself
gotta
is
about
pay
not-
all those extras.
The
No,
set
no,
itself
don't
is
worry
not
about
that
the extras.
hard. It's mostly just bleachers and some really cool mats, but they have an unbelievably, if you guys didn't notice it, ornate bracket behind them
Yeah,
with
huge.
a
That's what I was
shutter
talking
door that closes as the brackets go on. Because at first I was like, oh wow, they only have like 4 matches, because at the end it just shows like the semifinals and the final, and I was like, oh, but you can see behind it
Yeah.
the other brackets of matches that they did. That's one. Number two, do you know how big a fucking ladder you have to get that high to put like their names on those brackets as they go? It's a whole thing, Kevin. We need PAs for this. We got to get
It's like the championship banners that hang in Staples Center and shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
wild, the amount of like, come on, guys.
Guys,
now-
Also,
sorry.
too, is, and I know I mentioned that Miyagi's logo makes it on there. Daniel LaRusso isn't even signed up for it, and yet they rushed to Kinko's, printed out his name. He got on a
Printed.
giant sign on the board.
Printed.
Dude, Pat Morita himself designed the bonsai logo that is
Totally.
on Daniel's gi.
Dope
Oh, that's
logo.
sick.
That's cool as ice. Of course, this scene is great because it just proves that John Kreese is in fact an asshole. He is a bad teacher, and he just straight up drops the challenge because Miyagi's like he's like, you got to stop bullying this kid. And he's like, you want to do this now? You want to do this now? And he says, and I quote, "This is a karate dojo, not a knitting class. You don't come into my dojo and drop a challenge and leave, old man." And I'd be like, a little fucking dramatic, big cat. Let's take a step back here. And then, of course, they strike a deal.
We're just kind of glazing over the fact that John Kreese has been trusted by not one or two sets of parents, like a lot of parents,
dozens,
to go to a karate shop where men are literally getting murdered day in and day out by a man who is a sociopathic army murderer. Like there's like a lot of just glazing over.
Oh yeah, I saw you're right. I did leave out next to the standee of himself that he had clearly had printed. Like he had that made for himself.
Yes. He
was a shot of
a
him
picture
in Vietnam with like a fucking M60.
Yes.
Just like, just beautiful.
I mean, at this point, you figured he had a necklace of ears of men that he murdered.
Some crazy shit has gone down with Kreese. He's not. He needs some help. But of course, they strike up a deal. He says, "Listen, we'll fight. They'll fight 1-to-1." And they have another great line here where he's like, "What's the matter? The kid can't take care of his own problems." And Mr. Miyagi says, "A 1-to-1 problem, he can. 1-to-5 problem is too much for anyone." And that's such a great line for me because up until this point, also, guys, you have to understand every karate movie was like one dude beating the shit out of fucking everyone that came at him. And so this line, I was like, oh wow, that's actually pretty profound. Like he'll take him one-on-one. Yeah, he'll take him one-on-one, but in a tournament. So he ends up actually fighting 3 of them, but in the tournament. So the guy's like, cool. And then of course they ask one more thing. He was like, leave him alone so he can train for the tournament. And Kreese reluctantly agrees. And this is where we start it all. Yes, Makuga.
As somebody who clearly took and takes karate, I mean, unless you just bought that because you and your wife do weird role play things.
It's not weird.
We don't.
Okay. So,
this is all me.
in fact, Josh, like this doesn't help it.
This is anti-sex. What I'm wearing right here.
Holy shit, it's so good. Okay, so like you have to train a while to get a black belt. Like that's the first thing I learned in karate was like there's a lot of time before you get to be able to like chop shit up, right? Miyagi's like, nah, he's a black belt. Throws him in with the sociopath boys.
Yeah.
And he's like, you'll get it. And here he comes. He's just like, chop, 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 finals.
Well, Miyagi makes a point of being like, hey, if you study karate, like you don't need belts. We'll just study it and we'll train and then that's all that matters. But there is something a little bit unbelievable about him, A, not knowing the belt structure of karate, and B, stealing someone else's black belt, which is like, that is like such a fucking dick thing to do. If you did that in jiu-jitsu, someone would probably kill you.
Man,
that would be bad. That would be bad. But yes, Josh, you're right. It
Are
does take a long time to get a black belt.
laying around karate tournaments?
Well, there would be if you had your. No, he stole it from a dude that was probably going to compete, or was another ref, or was going to do because karate tournaments, they don't show this, but they used to do exhibitions as well. So people would do like katas and like they would do faux fights and like weaponry and shit like this. So maybe that guy was going to do that. I don't know, but. Man, that guy had got to the end of the day and was like, where the fuck did my black belt go? My sensei's going to kill me.
Well, when I was doing Kempo, there was maybe like my second year, almost when I stopped, there was a period, my teacher was like, hey, there's a program where we'll send you over to Japan for the entire summer and all you do is study Kempo. And once it's done, like at the time, I think it was like a blue belt. He was like, "You come back a black belt." So like there are like accelerated programs.
Yeah, not
and like
jiu-jitsu.
this is a one-on-one thing. No, yeah, not jiu-jitsu.
This is a total.
It takes about 10 years to get a black belt, no matter what.
It's a total non sequitur. But we were talking about the other day how Greg is aging like a fine wine, right? He's getting the grays, but he still looks like a beautiful young
looks
boy.
Great, yeah.
And then Nick said, you're not like me. Like I look fucking like aged and old at this point. But Nick, I'll tell you what. It's an improvement to when you would walk into the office with 7 bruises on your face and you would be all beat up because of jiu-jitsu. So I think like
there was a period
that's helped your process that, like if there's one tiny small positive thing that quarantine has done, it's allowed you to not go get elbowed in the fucking cheek.
Do you remember when we all like met behind Nick's back and we're like, should we talk to him about like, is he getting beaten up?
That's fair.
We were like, it's
No,
fine.
guys.
He's an adult. He can handle it. He can handle it. But we were concerned, Nick. We were really concerned.
I appreciate that, guys. That's why I love you. They agree to leave Daniel alone so he can train, and they head to Mr. Miyagi's dope-ass house. That it's not where it is.
Yeah, wait a second. Time out.
Yeah.
Why is he? It feels like he was
He lives at
living
the apartment complex.
the building, but he's got this sick Japanese sweet garden place.
Correct,
What the hell's
correct.
going on here?
That is correct. I don't know, but he orders Daniel
what-
to wash his cars.
We find later that like what happened with his life, and it's like he's had an income and nothing to spend it on for years. What do?
Yeah.
You
That's
you,
true.
you
Buy a bunch
buy
of
a
cars.
lot and you build an awesome place on it. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And then you get a young boy named
Too
Daniel
much.
to come
Too
stand
far.
here.
Too far. I don't like this part.
Hey, it has to be called out. It has to be called out. We don't need to dwell on it, but like, it's fucking weird. I'm not saying it's impossible. Weird shit happens all the time. Bonds between people exist. But this is an old man hanging out with a young child. And this young
Guys.
child just wants to hang out with him. And it's all just hunky dory.
There are two major franchises from the 80s where a young high school boy's best friend is an old man.
Yeah.
Back to the Future and Karate Kid.
Mhm.
Okay.
This makes more sense though, because we see why these
Thank
two
you.
have
Yeah.
a relationship
There-
together. Back to the Future starts with like
No
Michael J.
explanation.
Fox just being at the doc's house, and you're like, what is the
I'm
relationship?
gonna be late for school.
And it's
Oh, no,
like
Doc, you go back in time.
there's no like reason for it. Like it's not like, oh yeah, Doc works at your apartment complex.
Right.
You know?
Doc can teach you the one thing that can make you happy and or
Right?
not get your ass
Yeah.
beat every day. No, Doc just has a cool stereo system and maybe a lot of candy. We don't know.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think it makes sense. It's Daniel who doesn't really have a not.
well, he's
not
a
only
father figure.
He doesn't
Yeah.
have a fatherly figure, but it's also the guy that he witnessed beat a bunch
Mark.
of kids' asses
But
and
they
said,
were-
"I
but-
want what you have."
But they were already
and
friendly
also
at
we've
that
known
point.
that, but also we've known that he's wanted this. We've known that he's wanted to learn karate, and he's talked about training in the past. So obviously, you see somebody who can destroy a bunch of fucking 5-year-olds in like a matter of 10 seconds. It was incredible what Miyagi did on these kids. I think it makes total sense. But like this, again, this whole sort of setup to leading up to the now you know karate stuff. Well, I'm not learning karate. I'm just doing chores. I'm just your slave around here. And then
Yeah.
to see it all happen, like it is, I had the most goosebumps on my body. I had chills when he's finally like, when the self-realization again with me looking at Tim's photo of Gia in the skeleton outfit, that's Daniel with the karate. And to
Mhm.
realize like, oh, I'm blocking you now. Like, oh, dude, it is like anime as fuck, and it's so
Dude,
good, dude.
Hype,
Paul-
talk
Paul-
about a hype moment. That's great.
Paula figured it out right away because of The Office. She was like, "This is Michael Scorn, like when he plays hockey," and I was like, "Yeah, it's exactly right."
We'll skip ahead there though, because Andy,
Guys.
that's what it all builds up to. He's doing all these chores, and then they builds up to that point. He's actually been learning karate the entire time.
Also,
Um,
but wait, real quick. Why, like, we never get any info on like where Daniel's dad actually is. Totally glazed over. Like, he's just a deadbeat Italian dad from Jersey out there. Like, oh, my wife's gonna take my kid across country. I don't care too much about it. Like,
Yeah, he's probably just been out of the family for a long time.
Or
I gotta
dead.
assume. He could be
might have
dead.
died.
Yeah,
I
I
like
don't
to
know.
think he died in a mob hit, something cool like that.
Yeah, there wasn't like a lot of negative energy that way. It just kind of felt like
he's
his
not even
relationship.
mentioned.
Well, yeah, it's the thing where it's like maybe he wasn't around ever. You know, like that happens.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine because if they would have made mention to it at all, then I would have been thinking about it the whole time. But the fact that it was established that it's just Mom and Daniel, that it's totally fine.
Yeah.
I had no issue with that.
Okay.
We get another scene in amongst this training montage where Daniel and Allie go out to date, to golf and stuff. We get the fun thing with the mom's car, which is like, let it go or whatever it is, but pop the clutch.
God,
And then, of course,
so
we meet Allie's
embarrassing.
parents. We meet Allie's parents, who are just, man, they need therapy. There is something going on with Allie's parents. They do not like each other. I feel like this relationship is completely toxic,
Really?
and they got to figure something out. Because when he kicks the brick off, he goes, "I thought you were gonna fix that." She goes, I did. I was like, "Oh my god, like, can we help this poor woman out of this relationship?"
We
What
all
the
need to
fuck
learn
is happening here?
karate. Go help.
Yeah.
Guess so. She's
Clearly
busting the
a
fucking top.
very oppressive man. And also, Reseda and Encino are like 60 minutes apart. Like, those kids would not go to school. It's literally 25 miles away.
Yeah, so far. Let's see. We get that great scene where he learns how to fight for the first time. It's great. Miyagi, we do in this fixes his shoulder with the slap, where he's like, oh, my shoulder really hurts, I can't do it. He's like, he fixes the slap, and then all that stuff happens. Anyway,
It's called Reiki, I think. I don't know.
The next day after he's realized, hey, I have been learning karate the whole time, they go to the beach, and that's where Miyagi shows him the crane technique for the first time. And then Daniel-san asks him about that. He's like, is it what is that? He goes, it's the crane technique. And he goes, is it powerful, or is it good? Does it work? And he says, if done right, no can defense. And Daniel's like,
Fuck yeah.
fucking teach me that immediately.
That's
That's the only thing I need to know, right?
Jesus. That is
that
the
moment,
only one.
yeah.
May the force be with you.
Yeah,
Like,
done
let's go.
What a fucking cool
It's
team
a
this
lot
is.
like if we're talking great beach training montage scenes, it goes Karate Kid, then Rocky 3 with Apollo and
Oh my
and
God, what a
Rocky,
beautiful
like,
scene.
glistening
So many
leg
short shorts
muscles.
and everything. Yeah.
But let's be honest, when you heard about the crane technique, you thought to yourself, well, if you can't defend it, what? I mean,
It should be
we
a legal
should-
move.
Yeah.
Let's jump to that.
Yeah, let's immediately learn that. Like, could you imagine there's an alternate world where it's Freddy and the kid, where he just learns the crane technique, and Freddy's like, "Do it again, do the technique." And he just knocks everyone throughout the bracket because no one can defend this stupid kick.
It's like over the top. This move in arm wrestling is illegal, but Stallone's like,
I'm gonna do it.
Wait,
we
is
get
it the putting all the weight down like that? That's illegal.
if you can't curl your arm over something, you can't. That's illegal.
Yeah.
Is
I
it?
wouldn't know. I don't really know too
Have
much.
you looked into the rules? I'm just saying, like, Over
It
the Top
is,
is a great
yeah.
movie, guys.
It's over the top, an amazing movie, but yes, also that's very illegal.
The crane
Over the
technique
top, terrible movie.
the crane technique very much like a wrestler's finisher, where if anybody else does the leg drop, it doesn't matter. But if Hulk Hogan does it, it like is a big kind of move. If
Totally.
anybody else does sweet chin music like Shawn Michaels does it, it's just a normal kick. But when Shawn Michaels does it, it's the finisher. The crane technique, I mean, it's a kick. Like we've seen this. It's a kick. You know what I mean? I don't know. Whatever.
We have a weird scene in here that where when they come back to the car, despite the fact that they're in a beach on LA, there's some weird backwood like rednecks waiting for him at his car, and they start shooting off some horribly derogatory terms toward him. And then
All right,
Miyagi
y'all coming to California being Asian?
fucking uses a blade hand just to cut their bottles in half.
Yeah.
At which point I'd be like, we fucked up. This guy's gonna murder
That's
us.
exactly what happened. They immediately are like, our bad.
Like,
We'll
we're
move."
sorry.
Yeah.
And then he's
wait.
like, how did you do that? He's like, I don't know. It's the first time I've ever done it.
I feel like that's such a good line. So much.
Or you're like, is it the first time I've heard how to teach me that too? I'll fucking lop someone's head off. All I need is the crane technique and the bottle technique. We're fucking winning.
And then we'll be golden.
Later that night at the country club, Johnny has he goes to meet up. What's up? Someone said something?
Yeah.
Oh,
Joss.
yeah. No, what I was going to say is to kind of piggyback off what Andy was saying is that if you see Daniel-san in the crane position, there's only really one thing he's going to do. He's not going to like drop down split punch you.
No.
Like
No.
he's got one place to go. He's on one leg.
It's
the normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can what's that like and Billy Zabka could have just waited for him to like fall over.
He did
here's the
have
thing,
a
though.
bum-
They
a bum
did
knee
say
as
if
well.
done right,
Yeah.
no can defense.
Right.
There's a lot of ways to do it wrong. So we're just
Okay,
lucky
of
we
course.
got that one right.
But Daniel, remember also that Daniel at this point had his knee utterly torn apart by
Yeah.
everyone. Dutch fucked it up. Johnny fucked it up too. So putting any weight on that would have been really bad. And if you follow anything with UFC, that is a brutal strategy that a
But-
lot of people follow. Just kick the shit out of someone's front lead leg. You can't put any weight on it. You're fucked.
Yeah,
From
but
that point on.
he was on. So that was his left leg that was injured. He was on his right
Right.
leg, and the kick is the right leg also, right?
It is the right leg, but at some point he had to land on his left leg to. I guess the kick
I
lands
think he
first, and then
land
you
back.
land on your left leg.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Later that night, of course, he heads to the country club to meet up with Allie, but Johnny pulls a fast one on her and kisses her, and then she slaps the shit out of him. But Daniel doesn't see that, so he gets very, very hurt by it, and then somebody spills an entire tray of pasta all over his white trousers.
Guys,
I'm like, don't wear
that
white
is an
trousers.
extreme amount of pasta sauce. That was like a 40-gallon bucket of spaghetti sauce that he got on.
Well, they were
And
gonna fill
also-
out the big giant.
Also, just like extreme reactions from every old man in this room, like laughing at this. Like any normal human being would have been like, "Oh shit! Oh, kid fell."
No, I would have laughed my ass.
But these guys,
off.
the whole-
This fucking kid.
yeah, but it's you, Kevin. But these are like 65-year-old men that are like, like
He's poor.
Look at the little Italian from Jersey here, Newark.
He's Italian and he's covered in pasta.
It's so dumb, dude. It's so dumb.
Give him some vino.
Karate, man.
I also feel
I
like there's
know.
something really, really fucked up with her parents, where
they're fucked up.
she slaps him and then storms out, and like clearly her mom is the first thing she says is like, "Oh my god!" Like what? Instead of being like, "What the fuck did you just do to cause my daughter to do that?" You know?
What the fuck
Yeah,
happened?
Yeah.
They're all on Johnny Lawrence's side because
Yeah.
he's got blonde hair and his parents have money. Like, what the fuck?
It's messed up. I imagine there's got to be, if we had like infinite funds, I would love to recreate this scene where Daniel just goes fucking crazy and starts beating the shit out of all the old people in that party. You know what I mean? Just murking all
Crane
these old
kicking the
fuckers.
fuck out of everyone,
Just
chopping the glass off.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure, Andy, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe in the Criterion Collection, there is a Freddy Fernandez beating up the country club scene.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I fucks with my friend.
No, yeah.
When he comes home that night, he finds Mr. Miyagi drinking to the memory of his wife and son, both of whom died due to complications during childbirth. And this is an incredibly touching scene that when I was a kid, I did not see coming, and played just beautifully here by Pat Morita. He just does a great job here.
Dude, the story also is heartbreaking. They died at an internment camp while he was fighting Nazis.
For the United States.
Yeah.
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 The
Very sad.
country that put them in the internment camp. That's fucked
Very,
up,
very sad.
man.
So
Pretty
some
messed
fun
up.
facts that I got for you there is he reveals that he served in the army in the 442nd Regimental Combat Team. The unit, composed mostly of Japanese Americans, many of whom had been in internment camps, fought in Europe during World War II. It became the most highly decorated unit in the history of United States military.
Damn.
That's
That's
tight.
cool as ice.
He's cool as fuck.
Dude, when
was
like
chopping
anytime
some Nazi bottles.
anytime anyone's like, let's kill Nazis, it's like, all right, you just won some points. But like fucking Mr. Miyagi being like, I kill lots of Nazis while he's wasted drunk. I was like,
Yeah.
this guy fucking is awesome.
And then I love that he's peer pressuring Daniel into drinking at like age 17.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, kid, you better start drinking.
We get another quick training scene of Daniel on the beach, and this amazing score, by the way. We got to give a shout out to the actual theme of the Karate Kid, which is just so beautifully done. Of course, he's also training he's trying to do the crane technique, but he keeps like he's stumbling, he can't get it right. And then Miyagi finally teaches him how to punch, and it's a great scene too, where he's getting cocky. Miyagi, he just like leg trips him and just like tells him to shut up and like get
What a
focused.
beautiful trip that was.
Yeah, it was nice. Before we go to the tournament, Mr. Miyagi gives him a gi that his wife made for him a long time ago. Again, another touching scene. And as if this weren't enough, of course, it's Daniel's birthday. Mr. Miyagi also gives him an amazing vintage car.
The wife didn't make the gi; she made the patch.
The patch,
because you see the patch in his box earlier when he's like looking at like the
and
award.
Daniel says, if you ever want that back, you can just ask for it. Miyagi's like, I appreciate that. And then we get a great scene where he picks out the convertible, and they're sitting in there, and Daniel's very scared about the tournament, and he's like, "You think I'm going to win?" And Miyagi gives him one more final lesson where he's like, "Listen, man, karate, just like life, is about balance." Because they talk about Ali too here, where he sees a picture of her. He's like, "I didn't know you had a girlfriend," and he was like, "Well, I don't really know." And he goes, "Listen, man, you got to have balance in your life. It can't be all fighting. So like, go get balance. Stop being a dumbass, and basically go apologize to this person and go get her back." And then Daniel looks at him and he says, "You're my best friend that I've ever had." And he's like, "You're pretty okay too."
Ah,
That's a
God.
really good fucking scene.
That seems
Let's
great.
go.
That seems so good.
go.
Yeah.
And then as he drives out there yelling, he's like, "Bonsai!" He's like, "Bonsai!" He's like, "Bonsai!" It's fucking great. Of course, Daniel tracks Allie down at golf and stuff. How he knows she's there, beyond me, no idea. Kevin,
There's
I like
only
to
one
believe.
It
place
was
to go, Nick.
Tuesday.
Where
Yeah,
else are
it
you
is
gonna
Tuesday.
be?
That's where you're
I
at.
mean,
you know what I mean?
it's either that or he's secretly cultivated a network of spies to keep tabs on all of his friends
Definitely not that
and
one.
enemies. Daniel is kind of a jerk to Allie at first. Again, his ego's still bruised.
He doesn't
by all
know.
this
He doesn't know.
until-
He's still
Yeah,
hurt.
until Allie's friend is like, "Dude, you didn't stay for the fireworks, man. She knocked Johnny the fuck out." And then Daniel's like, "God damn it, I'm an idiot. I should have listened to her." And he goes and he apologizes. And she tells him, she's like, "Listen, you got the tournament tomorrow. I'm going to be in your corner." And he goes, "Yeah, but I might lose first round." And she goes, "Cool, then we'll leave early."
Love it.
It's just a great scene. So good.
You know
and
what
they-
though is I kind of wish that we would have gotten like just a little more like pump up for the All Valley. Like,
Totally.
maybe he sees like the All Valley flyer like in Rocky IV and he like grabs it off the mirror and like crunches it, or he's got like, we get like a stare down of him and Lawrence, or maybe there's like a Lawrence training montage, but ended with Daniel-san's training montage. Maybe Mr. Miyagi and he do a sparring session, or maybe Miyagi brings in like another student, or we get like a dummy, or we don't have that lead up to the All Valley to when we finally get there. And we realize that Mr. Miyagi has sent his graphics package in weeks before.
He's gotten all the info in.
It sort of just starts, Josh. You're so right.
Right?
The tournament kind of just starts, and then the dude at the front desk is like, yeah, the logo has to be a 400 by 400 PNG.
Will you take a JPEG? No, we need the
it's got
it has to be PNG, so we can cut it out. It's got to be transparent. Like,
but it has,
Josh,
but it has the checkers in it. It has checkers. No, that has checkers. It doesn't. That's not.
Yeah.
I really dig the idea of the training montage, like Lawrence in the style of Rocky IV, where it's like they're shooting him up. He's in like a massive metal complex, just working out.
I love that scene.
Running on a giant loop with punching a bag every time he goes by it. Yes.
You're like, doesn't this 18-year-old go to school? What is he doing?
It's funny though, because like for a movie called The Karate Kid, and this speaks to how good this movie actually is. This tournament doesn't take up that much screen time.
No,
like it's the third act, but it's only like 10 minutes. It's not that long.
And
which is fascinating.
What the other scene that they, again, Andy, and you know what I'm talking about, is there is a scene where Freddie Fernandez gives John Kreese some back alley steroids to load up Johnny Lawrence.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the scene I'm talking about.
He's like, I've been hated. Daniel, he fucking didn't come to my second beach party. Like, I hate him.
He's the Karate Kid. And then he wins. And he's like, that's my boy. The Karate Kid. The next day, Daniel starts the tournament off by stealing someone else's black belt, and we are off. Again, I love this scene where Daniel's like confounded. He doesn't know what the hell's going on the entire time, and he gets pushed into the mat, and he barely wins that first match, and things aren't looking so good. And he looks over at Mr. Miyagi, and he's like, Mr. Miyagi, hey, Mr. Miyagi, I need a little boost. I need something extra. And Mr. Miyagi's like, I got you, Daniel-san. Goes over. What does he blast? Josh McCouga. What song comes over the loudspeaker as we head into the fucking best 80s montage ever?
You try to believe that you're the best, and the best a man can tell you. History
yeah,
giant, you'll succeed. You're the best.
Now, Andy, here's what you don't understand about the 80s. Okay. A couple things that were scary. Obviously, lasers. Obviously, quicksand. Obviously, I had a huge fear of short shorts after this movie because I was like, I'm never going to look as good as Ralph Macchio in that. But what I respected about this movie, Tim, is that it wasn't the national karate championship. It wasn't even the state karate championship. It was just a local karate championship. So you didn't have to be the best there ever was. All you had to be was the best around. Literally, if someone was better than you outside, as long as they weren't in the building,
as long as they're not around, you're fine. Hey, no one's gonna keep you down, man. I get it.
The original
excellent point.
Go ahead, Josh.
The original lyric, I believe, was "You're the best in town," and they were like, "That's too big. That's too big.
Too big, guys." They're gonna be scared of that. No one's gonna want to take karate out of that. They're gonna be the best in their town. I will say this:
you're just the best around. Okay.
So Daniel-san obviously shows up in more traditional white gi with, of course, the amazing patch that Mr. Miyagi had given him, his wife made. He shows up, looks great, but again, as he's walking in, the Cobra Kais run past him and they all hit him like just dick bullies. And you can't be mad at them, Tim, because their gis are so fucking
holy
cool.
fucking hell.
You want them to win. I was like, I want Johnny to win.
They're somehow tucked like up
so dope.
and out a little bit. Yeah, so cool.
They might as well have looked like Scorpion and Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat.
Exactly.
I like
so much cooler looking.
I like the idea that what was the name of the instructor? Kreese. I like the idea that like Kreese like puts all the effort in like making these elaborate things, but has a lot of shame because he doesn't run a knitting school, you know, but he wants to. Right. He wants to, and that's where a lot of that anger is coming from, Kevin, because he has to keep it down and hidden.
Kevin, do you think there's a part where students are like, "Why does he keep making knitting references? He keeps comparing everything to knitting. We don't understand why." By the way, there was like patches all over their legs and stuff that they all had. This is a conspiracy.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, like he's sitting there at night putting them all together, being like, "It's gonna look so beautiful," but I can't tell anyone how much I love making this.
Got to keep pushing the whole no mercy angle.
Wildly enough, there is a Freddy Fernandez knitting scene. Again, got cut.
Got caught, man. Moving along in the tournament, this actually moves very, very fast. Daniel's next match is against Dutch, who he gets, and Dutch gets really pissed when he loses, but he gets him into the semifinals. Johnny, of course, wins his match despite a stunning aerial display by his opponent. Next up, we have Daniel versus Bobby, but before stepping onto the mat, Kreese orders Bobby to take Daniel out, even though Bobby's like, dude, I can beat him. And he's like, I don't want to beat, I want him out. And then, of course, Bobby reluctantly obliges with an illegal kick to the knee that gets him disqualified. And he's immediately just like, dude, I'm so sorry, Daniel. And Daniel's like, get out of my face, bro. You just blew my knee out. And now I'm never going to do karate again.
The way he apologized was very dramatic. It looked like,
sorry.
it seemed like, I know that I've broken your leg and like,
Yes.
this is the end of your career. I didn't want to. I had to.
Yeah, but it's, I mean,
it also
we saw sort of that in the beginning of the movie, him being like, he's had enough, Johnny, like, let him go, you know, like, that character sort of, that
more sympathetic.
was there.
I also think it hints a little bit at the, like, that acknowledged respect that he's gaining from them.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, definitely. And it also hints to the fact that these are teenagers, right? These are kids. And I always read that scene a little bit as like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to hurt this person. And when he does, he feels super bad about it, knowing he did something completely wrong.
Another great life lesson from John Kreese. Like, if you can't win, break their legs.
Yeah. Back in the locker room, a doctor, and we all know he's a doctor, guys. Why? Because he's wearing a doctor's coat for no reason.
Did he not have a stethoscope too?
To the tournament. He had everything, man.
Yeah.
He was like the full doctor's outfit. He dressed so much like a doctor that I would actually not believe he was a doctor. I don't think you're a doctor. It's too much doctor stuff on you. No doctor dress.
You gotta have a doctor at one of these tournaments. Someone gets a broken nose.
They have paramedics.
Yeah.
They usually have
But
paramedics.
I'm pretty sure they would
but
just
also
wear
have an ambulance.
scrubs. Did they have scrubs in the 80s?
But they had scrubs in the 80s.
Okay.
Usually at tournaments, they have like a couple, like an ambulance standing by with a paramedic.
But I feel like that's a more modern thing. That's when like people like started watching these movies and like actually started trying to kill each other.
Probably.
Well, you know,
anyway.
all the refs in the tournament are all like legendary karate people.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I didn't know. I was doing like the research on the movie or whatever, and like the black dude. And if you guys notice, every single person that is either an announcer or a ref has some version of a receding hairline.
Yeah,
the black guys is like kind of far back.
Yeah.
The main announcer has the greatest comb over in movie history.
Yeah, but he also one of them has an amazing beard with the comb over as well.
Yes. Yeah.
The guy
that white guy's comb over was fucking legendary, dude.
Legendary.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Back in the locker room, of course, the doctor kind of is like, okay, well, we'll go tell him, and
Like, you're never gonna fight again.
Yeah, your knees.
What do I
blown,
know?
and
I'm
a
just
lot
a
of surgeries.
doctor.
And Daniel's very disheartened. His mom and Ali leave him, of course, with his coach and sensei, Mr. Miyagi. And he's like,
Guys.
he's like, you put in the fight. It's great. And Daniel's like, they won't see it that way. I want to finish. I don't care if I lose, but I wanted to finish because these guys aren't going to let up unless I walk back out there. And he's like, well, you're hurt. And Daniel's like, I don't care. I want to fight. And Mr. Miyagi, there's a moment where he just goes, he's like, you have to understand. Mr. Miyagi goes, and then he goes, can you fix me? And Tim, what does he do?
Let's
and the music just
go,
hits.
dude.
And then we get, I mean, again, another beautifully shot scene where they're just midway through handing Johnny his trophy, and Ali, no association with this whatsoever, runs out onto the mat with their shoes on and whispers into the announcer's ears, and you just hear him go like this: Daniel LaRusso's gonna fight. Daniel LaRusso's gonna fight, and the crowd goes fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Insane.
Nick, there are 34,000 people there. The whole arena is just on their
Super
feet.
Bowl, man.
Yeah, it is insanity, dude. It's awesome. But actually, what a lot of people don't know is that this fight is the semifinal match, and he was supposed to fight Freddy Fernandez for the finals. And we just
Everybody
got-
knew that.
Freddie was the reigning champ from last year, so
Yeah.
he didn't have to go through the bracket. He just got a shot at the champion.
I mean, and the other thing they cut out was it was a longer scene, and the announcer was like, Daniel LaRusso, the guy that really wasn't registered, but we got his whole graphics package and his name 3 weeks ago, is gonna fight. And
It wasn't a
everybody kinda
PNG,
goes
it was a JPEG, but we made it work.
nuts. It didn't work anyway. And also, his mom just kind of showed up. She didn't arrive with him on the tournament. We think she was looking for parking. She wasn't in the first few scenes, and then all of a sudden, is in the scenes. Oh man.
She also doesn't register like she cares about any of this stuff, or that her
She
son
has
just
no
got his knee
idea her
blown out
son's
and might
learning
die.
karate from an old Asian man. She has no idea.
Oh man, what fun we're having here on this podcast. Of course, Daniel comes out with Miss Miyagi helping him out as he's limping over to the mat. And let's see. I'm sorry. Hops out. Okay. And the match is on. The ref yells fight. Daniel squares off against Johnny. They go, and despite his injury, Daniel actually scores the first point here, which I think is really cool. Of course, Johnny, not to be undone, fires back with a clear shot to the kidneys, but apparently the ref doesn't call that. So Daniel catches him with the scissor sweep, and I would assume, Kevin, you can rule on this, a very illegal hit to the back of the head, which makes Johnny's nose bleed for some reason. Not quite sure.
Because he lands on the face. He lands
on his face. I feel like the rules were really, really simple, weren't they? Where it's like you can
hit the face.
Above the waist is a point, and like below the waist, no points. Yeah, like where I don't.
But Johnny,
I feel like everything was allowed.
At one point.
I think that was
Johnny
allowed.
literally gets a.
I never
understood.
Didn't she say hit the kidneys?
Yeah. No, I'm not disputing that. You're absolutely right. But he hits him, and the ref is like looking at him, and then the fight keeps going. He doesn't call a point for Johnny.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, Nick. There are several moments like that where there is a body shot that happens, but and in my mind go, oh fuck, Johnny got the point, and they just keep fighting. I was like, okay, I guess maybe not.
Rules are different.
But here's the thing: is I didn't wrestle in high school. I didn't play karate. I didn't go to the karate shop.
Karate.
I didn't go shopping at the karate shop.
Yep. Okay. So I never understand. Like when I'm watching the Olympics and I'm watching like judo or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, point! He won 1-0." I don't understand how you score points in any of these sports where it's like, "Hey, if you get him in the chest, it's a point. If you hit him in the face, which then Daniel LaRusso does, it's not a point. But yet he still wins on the crane kick."
It depends on the tournament, honestly. Like a lot of point karate is based on just touch. Like you make contact, you get the point. This one they just laid out the rules like 1 point for torso, 2 points for head. I think is what it was. No points for legs, which whatever. It doesn't matter because as the ref calls time, Johnny walks over to Kreese, his sensei, to check his bloody nose, and as he's checking it, he tells him to take. He says, "Sweep the leg." And Johnny's like, "Sensei, I can
so
beat him."
Scary, dude.
It's scary as shit. And sweep the leg is probably.
Like, does he?
Yeah, he says sweep the leg.
No, but no, I'm saying, does he sweep the leg? Because I feel like, he doesn't, right? Okay.
Leg kick right to his knee, which again would have demolished whatever was left of his meniscus and ACL would have been gone after that kick.
Destroyed. Yeah.
Of course, Johnny does what he's told, despite not wanting to do it. He shows a little reluctance here as well, but he gets up, and as they fight one more time, he kicks Daniel right. It just lands all full weight on his knee. I'm sorry, he kicks him in the knee and then the face first. Then they trade blows for a little bit, and Johnny scores again, tying it up. Instead of winning fair and square, though, I apologize. He did kick him in the knee prior to this, but they didn't show that. This is where he catches Daniel's leg and then drops a freaking 12-6 elbow straight down on it. At which point, if I were the ref, I'd be like, "You clearly meant to do that. You are disqualified."
He said that was an illegal move. He said another move like that, you're out. Right, and then some guy in the stand is just like, "Finish him, kill him."
So there's a couple.
Shout out to that fucking guy.
I think I'm mixing it because I think Johnny wasn't the one that drop kicked the leg. I think Bobby was the one that drop kicked the leg first, and did it, and that was the illegal move. This one is
Abby.
He does the 10-2 or the 12-6 elbow, and then we have sweep the leg, which is a great line. We can put it up on the list, Andy. If you
put on the list. Secret delights.
One of the other horrible lines is when they were talking in the soccer field, and Bobby's like, "What is it? Take a worm for a walk day?" I was like, "Cut that line out. We don't need that line." But the best line in this whole movie is said off screen, and I think it's screened by Bobby or Dutch. It's probably Dutch. He screams as they're about to square off in this last bout.
Yep.
Put him in a body bag.
So good.
Oh, right.
So good.
Body bag.
Put him in a body bag. So good. So good. Of course, Johnny does that blow. The ref warms him one more time. He's like, "If you do that one more time, you're disqualified."
Wait,
and then we see a look in Daniel's face as he looks over at Mr. Miyagi, and part of him wants to quit as he locks eyes with Mr. Miyagi's stone cold gaze. But Mr. Miyagi says to him non-verbally, of course, just in the gaze, "You still have one move left in your arsenal, Daniel's son. And if done right, no can defense." Of course, Daniel gets to his feet, hopping at this point, just horribly in pain, and assumes the position, hands in air. And as Johnny moves in with the confidence of a tiger, little does he know, of course, he's no match for the crane. With a final snap of Daniel's right foot, it lands perfectly on Johnny's face. The match is over. Daniel's son is victorious. Johnny, of course, 180 at this point, is like, You beat me fair and square, man. I am your best friend now. Takes the trophy out of the announcer's hand and hands it to Danielson. He's like, "You're all right, LaRusso." And what is Daniel's
You ever been
response?
kicked in the face like that, man? Like that'll change your perspective on shit.
Pretty quick.
Crane kicked him to next Tuesday.
And they go like this. He goes, "Hey, man, you're all right, LaRusso." And Danielson goes, "Yeah, thanks." And that's the last line of the movie. Actually, it's not the last line of the movie. He looks over at Mr. Miyagi, who's not hype at all. Mr. Miyagi's like just chilling on the sideline, not jumping, not screaming at anything. And he screams over to his sensei, "We did it." And Mr. Miyagi just goes like this. Little nod.
Yep.
God,
Little
that's
nod,
dude.
that nod is
That's
very
it.
good. That's a good nod.
It's good.
I was expect like, hey, you know what, LaRusso, you're good, man. You're a nice guy, LaRusso, and LaRusso to be like, I'm sending you the hospital bills for all the torn meniscus and ACL and
You
everything.
have
I need.
any idea how much fucking physical therapy I have to have after the surgery on this?
Yeah, the rehab session will take at least 2-3 years for me to be like back to normal. Okay.
You literally destroyed my leg. There's nothing left of it. But thanks, man. No, great match.
The tendons are all torn. Yeah.
I'm gonna need one of those hyper robotic leg braces like they had in The Dark Knight Rises,
Bruce Wayne.
just to go to school.
You know,
7 syllables in the middle. You'll need 5 for the first and last line. If you're not poetic, no need to fret it. Haikus don't need to rhyme. Haiku in review. Haiku in review.
You can go to patreon.com/kindoffunny to write your review in haiku form, just like Hired did. Mr. Miyagi, teach Danielson the crane kick. Done right. No can block.
That's wrong.
Oh, because he ran out of.
He ran out of syllables. Yeah.
I like the poetic
I'll give him
license.
credit for it.
I like the poetic license.
Ignacio Rojas says, "Man, what a soundtrack. Wait, the movie's over? That was a fast end."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Blackjack says, 80s soundtrack. Sick. Start with wax on, wax off trick. Use fabled crane kick.
Hell yeah.
Ooh.
That's
Blackjack. Good job.
Blackjack's been bringing the heat. After you verbally berated him.
Verbally crane kicked him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's back with the gold. Thank
Blackjack
you.
is
Thank
back.
you, Blackjack.
Great job.
And Andy, can you hit us off a little ragu bagu?
Ragu. Bagu. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys for Karate Kid in Review. I'll be your host, I guess, because I just started talking and Andy hasn't stopped me yet. I'm Nick Scarpino alongside Josh McCouga, Andy Nitro Rifle Cortez, Kevin the Big Dog Coelho, and Johnny Lawrence himself, Mr. Tim Blue Eyes Gettys. Where do we want to put Johnny Lawrence on the list? I guess he has to go number one, right? De facto, he's number one for the list. I'm a dumbass.
But to talk about it, though, was he a good bad guy?
Such a good
He's
bad guy.
fucking awesome. You know what? Like
He's the
just
quintessential
a prick.
bully.
Listen,
And it's
if you look at what a high school villain should look like, and you walk into any high school in America today, and that kid walks in, you're like, that kid gets chicks, and he's a sweet ass bully. Okay, he's clearly a villain. I want to be his friend. Like those
dad
four
bought him
things
a
happen,
motorbike.
right? So Johnny Lawrence, as far as casting goes, and as far as acting goes, is hands down one of the greatest bad guys of all time. You add that in, that he's the protege of murderous sociopath John Kreese.
You're
Sensei
right. We
Kreese.
do have to add Kreese into this. I would say it's
Right?
Johnny Lawrence and Kreese.
Oh,
All
I
right,
mean, they're
Johnny
both
Lawrence and Kreese.
absolute evil assholes. Like John
Let's say-
Kreese, the fact that he
There's something wrong with
in
Kreese.
front of a bunch of students, like he's obviously a terrible influence on these kids.
Awful.
And Pat Morita says that, and Pat Morita's like, there's no bad students, just bad teachers or whatever. And it's totally true. And they have that back and forth in the dojo of him saying, all right, but if you don't show up to the tournament, it's open season and he's first and you're next. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? This is a crazy ass threat. They go, I mean, these are some of the best villains in movie history. And I feel like they sort of start that they kind of like are the protege, I don't know what the word I'm looking is, but every movie from
The
here kind of
prototype.
follows that.
like the prototypical.
Yeah, they sort of follow that mold. And immediately, Tim, I'm thinking when I think of Johnny, I think of Val from
Brink.
Brink, yeah, I
You're
think of Val
so
from Brink.
fucking right, man.
Totally. Yes.
Wow.
Great call. You
Wow.
also get like "Hey Johnny, how was karate class today?" "Well, Mom, I learned to punch a dude's neck through the back of his head, so that was cool."
So right now, Ragu Bagu, number one, of course, we have Johnny Lawrence and Kreese. And for ranking it, of course, number one is The Karate Kid. We will return next week with The Karate Kid Part 2. That is a very exciting thing. Let me actually pull up the calendar right now to clarify a couple things. Because
when Tim, real quick,
that?
as a aside to this, is when Tim first sent me the schedule, he's like, "So we're gonna do it on Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. You cool with that?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
I don't know what the fuck happened. I like wrote it all out and I had everything, and it was a beautiful looking email, but all the info was wrong. I was like, Tuesday the 9th, whatever, and you're like, the 9th is a Friday. And I'm like, what? How the fuck did I mess that up? But so everyone knows now, so we can get on the same page here as a group of us and the audience. The in review schedule for the foreseeable future here, next Monday and Thursday, we'll be doing Karate Kid 2 and then 3. Okay? That's the Monday the 7th, Thursday the 10th. Then Monday the 14th, we're doing the next Karate Kid. Wednesday the 16th, we're doing Tenet to close out the year. Taking the 2 weeks off. When we come back, we'll be doing Wonder Woman 1984 on Tuesday the 5th. That Friday, we're going to do Cobra Kai seasons 1 and 2 together. So you guys and the audience, we have the whole break to watch the 2 seasons of Cobra Kai. All right. And then that Monday, right after that, Cobra Kai season 3, baby, closing it all out big. Thank you for joining us today. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed this as much as I do, and I am extremely happy we are doing this. Until next time.
Video off, notification on. I don't know. Wax on, wax
No,
off.
that worked. I'm cutting it.